Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. 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 Good morning. 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 Good morning. Oh, I got to turn this. I got to get some headphones plugged in. What the? Good morning. Come on. Come all. Get on in here. We're about to roast some Coomers. First, Dark Side Deacon. Dark Side Deaconess? Deaconess. About to debunk some Bible Coomers. Some people who like to twist the Bible and justify having multiple wives, committing adultery every night, and justifying it, calling good evil and evil good. These are people these are the definition of those who have been given over to a reprobate mind. Given over, meaning you ain't coming back from that. All right, let's give it a minute. Friday morning stream, TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. Ain't that right, chat? I thought it was Wednesday. It's Friday. What's up, Marlin? Marlin, I'm going to start a harem. I'm going to be a biblical polygynist. They've convinced me. I'm going to start a harem. You want to join my harem? Okay. What sucks about this is this guy never even debated Andrew, as far as I know. He just made a video where it says debating Andrew Wilson. Let me show you this guy's channel first. It's got 83,000 subs. 83 degenerate degens. That's redundant. 83,000 degens who will do anything they can to justify sleeping with as many women as possible. But as long as I marry him first. One real marriage and a bunch of other fake marriages and adultery is what we got serving up on the let me find his YouTube channel. I subscribe to him, so he's at the top of my subscription list. I'll unsubscribe if he debates me. No, I'll stay subscribed if he debates me. That's the motivation. I'm unsubscribing if he doesn't. Because this guy's way better than freaking... I'll still debate Glenn about it. That'll be practice. Practice. We're talking about practice. That'll be practice. That Rob guy, I went back and watched the Andrew and Rob Kolaski debate, and I thought he was smarter in that debate for some reason. I think because I was listening at work, because it was 2 versus 1, 2 guys against Andrew. And the one guy was smart and respectful, and he even accepted Andrew's correction on a lot of points. But the Rob guy was a moron. That guy was a total dumbass. And I thought he was like the top of the line, but I guess this guy, Rich Tidwell, is the top dog in this blasphemous heathen sphere. Rich Tidwell, 83K. He's popular. Only 498 videos. I mean, as far as clout goes, he's whooping me. He's destroying me. But and it seems like he does do some stuff that I kind of like, where it's like going against the Jews, going against the synagogue of Satan, talking about the Jews, Tidwell versus pagan. I respect all that stuff. That's cool. And he's a pastor. Maybe he does a really good job. But if your theology can justify polygyny, then how can I listen to your theological stance on anything else? You know? Look, let me show you his channel. Hold up. Let me pull this over here. Every day is good. Perspective matters. I disagree. Mondays suck for everybody, objectively. Yeah, when it got a few wives in Utah. Yep, I converted to Mormonism. So look, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't really debate any of these people. Like the thumbnail says, hold up. Hold up. One moment. We're gonna go to this one. So here's his channel. So he's got this video debating Shapiro on polygyny. But if we go to this video,
Sheba, and the argument, it is biblically acceptable, the life, and so to sin.
A man leaves.
You're not debating Ben Shapiro. You're reacting to his video. That's not a debate, my boy. You want a debate? I'll give you a debate. This is not a debate. How you gonna clickbait? More like a clickbaiting Ben Shapiro on polygyny. This is not debating. This is clickbaiting. What are you talking about? Debating Andrew Wilson on polygyny.
If you don't know, I have two wives, and I also have.
Spoiler alert, guys. He doesn't actually debate Andrew Wilson on polygyny in this video. Shocker. He clickbaited. He didn't debate. He clickbaited. If he didn't get me in almost 10 years, you not. I don't know what that means. Yeah, so he doesn't debate these people. I'm gonna watch his video. And so here's what it's gonna be. Since God never explicitly says you can't have multiple wives, which I'll disagree on that. He does explicitly say it. And we'll pull that up. We'll pull up the scriptures. He does explicitly forbid it, and he curses and condemns, and there's horrible results. The wrath of God is poured out upon the kings that did wrong in the eyes of the Lord. Note it. We'll go through this. I'm gonna have to go through and go through Chronicles, Kings, and first, second Chronicles, first, second Kings, first, second Samuel, and I'm gonna have to write down the name of every king who it said did right in the eyes of the Lord, and every king who did wrong in the eyes of the Lord. And then it gives the genealogies of all those kings. And as we were reading through the Bible live over the last year, 2 years, year and a half, I was making note of everyone. Every time it listed off a bunch of wives that they had and it said he multiplied wives unto himself, the next line is always, he did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Now, there's somewhere it's not mentioned. But it does not say that every Old Testament king and every patriarch, I heard this is the claim, that every patriarch, every writer of the Bible, this is what Rob Kolowski said, every author of the Bible had multiple wives. This is not true. It's not true at all. What are you talking about? Did Ruth have multiple wives? Well, Ruth didn't write Ruth, but I don't know who wrote Ruth. I forget. I think it's anonymous, but I don't know of Isaiah having multiple wives. Jeremiah. Jonah didn't have multiple wives. He didn't write. He's not an author, but he's a character, a patriarch. He said all the patriarchs and church fathers had multiple wives. What are you talking about, dude? But I'm responding to something the Rob guy said. So I want to talk about what this guy's saying, because the Rob guy's not that bright. That man had me in a whole trance, and I still would never. What, your last man was trying to get you in a dang harem? It didn't work out. All right, let's.
It's hard for me to care as much anymore. I used to hit this issue hard on polygyny, with the multiple wives thing. And you're right, it's not biblical, and it's completely immoral, and it's totally unjustified.
Morality is defined by Scripture, and the law of God has not declared polygyny sin. Therefore, it is moral, and God has participated in it, Mr. Wilson. He has participated in giving men wives in the biblical narrative. God doesn't sin. He's holy. Be careful about your statements, because you are declaring not only the patriarchs to be immoral.
It is him. The patriarchs were all the patriarchs have multiple wives, guys.
Incontinent perverts, but you're declaring God.
Right, Dark Side Deacons. And then we'll look at Mark 10:7, and we'll go to Deuteronomy, and they all mention the Deuteronomy verse because they know that verse, but they don't tie that verse into the New Testament. So basically the verse, well, I'll pull it up here in a little bit, but it says something like kings and priests should not, or kings should not multiply wives unto themselves. And then the New Testament says priests should only take one wife, or priests should not have multiple wives. So kings and priests can't have multiple wives. And then in the New Testament, it says, are you not kings and priests? Or did I not call you kings and priests? So if you're a Christian, you're a son of God, you are a king and a priest. You're not a peasant. So there you go. And also, if the highest people in society are told directly not to have multiple wives, what makes you think the poor people should have multiple wives? So are you a king? Are you a priest? You're a pastor. Pastor, priest, synonymous, kinda, not really, but for a Protestant, they would think that their pastor is on the same level as a priest. So you're a priest. It tells you can't have multiple wives. And that's New Testament. That's not old law. But if you say it with a big smile on your face and with a lot of energy, people will believe it. And plus, there's a lot of degen Coomer guys who just want to believe this. I would also get into how every cult, there's always an aspect of polygamy in cults. It's always a true sign of a cult if the leader gives into his proclivity toward polygamy, which is an animal nature. Oh my God. Gross.
To be those things. May it never be. God forbid that idea. God is holy and moral, and you need to watch your statements, my friends. Their implications are important. Jesus said that we are going to give an account for every careless word we speak. I know you do a lot of...
I think he even says at some point that God had multiple, or no, he says God gave men multiple wives.
Shows. I know you do a lot of debating, but your careless words, you're going to give an account for them. You got to repent and stop just saying whatever comes to mind. Hey, it's Rich Tidwell, and I'm back with another response video. This time with the Timcast crew. They had Andrew Wilson on as a guest, and they discussed my plural family and my position on polygyny. And what's amazing about this, as we
also, not to be a snitch or a dry snitch, but he admits to having multiple wives. Isn't that illegal in America? What country does this guy live in?
Walk through this video is that they didn't cite one scripture, and they opened up with two logical fallacies and two cognitive biases. In other words, they did not even present my case correctly. I have to hand it to Ben Shapiro. At least he read some of my statements and showed a clip of me preaching. These guys just really created a straw man and shot in the dark right away. I really kind of expected more from Andrew Wilson because he's a professional debater, which, by the way, Andrew, if you see this video, I would love to debate you on the Whatever podcast.
Hold on. Did they ever debate? Because if they did, I would rather watch that. Rich Tidwell. Should we watch the video or is he going to react to the whole thing? No, he has no debate with Andrew on this topic. Oh, wait. Polygyny. Oh, no, that was Captain Tazariak.
Or on Timcast, wherever, whoever will host us, I would absolutely debate you on the topic of polygyny. So friends, please make sure that he sees this video, share it with him. We want to discuss these things. This needs to be brought.
This from 8 months ago, so this isn't exactly new.
To the forefront of conversation because our birth rates in the West right now are at 1.6 births per woman. And the truth is we need to be at 2.1. So this is not a small matter. Polygyny is genuinely an answer to that crisis.
No, it's not, which Andrew demonstrated thoroughly. And Rachel called in and she chewed into these guys too. The Rob Kolowski guy, Andrew thoroughly demonstrated why it would not help birth rates. Men having multiple wives is not going to help birth rates.
We need to.
You're going to have more. And they talk about hypergamy all the time. You're going to have more high-level men, high-value men with multiple wives and less guys able to find wives. And there's already guys who can't find wives in the church, wanting to, hoping to. And hoping to make children with them. But yeah, this guy thinks that if guys can marry multiple wives, the theory is so dumb. I don't know his whole stance, so I need to watch this. But what Rob was saying was, he said the reason young men aren't getting married and they'd rather just bang a chick and leave her is because they don't want to commit to just one woman for the rest of their lives. If they knew that they could marry multiple women, they would get married. No, a few guys would get married to all the hottest women. The women that no guy wants to get with, she's still going to be single. The guy that no woman wants to get with, he's still going to be single. But in all the normal average guys, they're not going to have any girls to get with because the average girls, the slightly higher guys, are going to marry 10 of them. If this were culturally normalized, I think it would be very difficult to normalize this culturally because the women, for the most part, I mean, throughout history, they have gone along with it. But I mean, you got to just basically not give them any other choice. Like through history, if there was a guy with multiple wives, it was because he was very rich, powerful. You could force them to be their wife or cut their head off. But I'm trying to find a verse
to discuss its biblical lawfulness and how it can be applied in the West. Now, if you don't know, I have 2 wives and I also have 8 children. My second wife just welcomed her first baby, which is my 8th, our daughter Grace. I shared a photo of her online. If you don't follow me.
It's so weird. So weird. He's sharing pictures of his newborn baby, his first newborn baby from his second wife. It's so weird.
On Twitter or now X or Instagram, please do, and you'll be able to keep up with our family. All right, we're going to dive into the video. I'm really excited with you guys.
Yeah, what is wrong with these women, though? It's a cult. He's starting a cult.
Get into it.
I know I haven't. I've just done roasting so far, but he hasn't really made any points yet.
Now, just like in the Ben Shapiro response video, I'm going to be pausing pretty frequently as we walk through this because they make a ton of false claims and each one needs to be addressed. However, if you would like to see the original video uninterrupted, I will have it linked in the description below. Let's jump right into it.
A Protestant pastor says that polygamy is biblical and that it was divinely ordained. I've been seeing this all over Twitter today. I don't know if you guys have noticed this at all. What a great story. This guy's not backing down from his claim that he can have multiple wives.
I'm glad he believes it's a great story. Thanks, buddy.
Rich Tidwell, a pastor in Canton, Missouri, has sparked an online debate about the acceptance of polygamy.
So, off the rip, first mention of this in the Bible, the earliest reference to anything relating to multiple wives is Deuteronomy 17:17. This is talking about kings, rules for kings. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Turn not away from God. Who? God. Meaning, multiple wives will lead you to your heart turning away from God. An example of this would be Solomon. When he was being a little polygyny simp with 600 wives and all his, what do they call them? Concubines. And what ended up happening to Solomon? He started showing off all his stuff to Queen Sheba. I believe it was the Queen of Sheba. And he lost his whole kingdom. He was cursed because of it. He became a simp. He started building statues to these women because he worshiped the flesh. He didn't worship the Father as he should have. In his younger life, he did. But then once he got rich and powerful, you know, the whole rich man, eye of the needle, camel thing. Once he got rich and powerful and became a king, he fell to his lust, his earthly, fleshy lust, and he multiplied wives unto himself, which he was explicitly commanded not to do in Deuteronomy 17:17. Now, an argument to this could be, well, that's just talking about kings. Okay, dumbass. So kings aren't allowed to have multiple wives according to God, but poor peasants are? Why would he encourage shouldn't the leadership be a role model, an example of the best way to live and the best type of person to be? They ought to be. I know they aren't, but shouldn't they be examples to the rest of the country, of the people, of the nation? Yeah. So if the king can't multiply wives to himself, what makes you think the hobo down the street can? Pastor?
Polygamy in Christianity and whether or not it is biblically justified. He says, I have two beautiful wives. To the expected amount of backlash, he recently made an announcement on his Instagram page that his second wife is expecting his 8th child. All right, this is kind of what I was saying earlier, even though obviously we disavow this guy's not talking about real Christianity.
Okay, and we're off. This first statement, this is not real Christianity. This is known as a no true Scotsman fallacy. It's presented when someone wants to...
No, it's not a no true Scotsman fallacy. If there's specific rules that make you something or not something, and you don't hit those rules, you call good evil and evil good. You've been given over to a reprobate mind. You can't be a reprobate Christian. Christians' righteousness, their sins are covered by the righteousness of Christ. They're not reprobates. They're not given over to a reprobate mind, and they don't call good evil and evil good. This would be like saying, I'm a gay Christian. Don't clip that.
To state, oh, this isn't real Christianity because the majority...
You can't identify as something antithetical to Christianity and Christian at the same time. That's called a contradiction. Now, you could have a weakness for ladies, and you could acknowledge that, but not indulge in it and justify it. You could even indulge in it from time to time and understand that it's a weakness that you have, and that you repent for it, and you ask to be forgiven for it. You confess it, and you struggle with your flesh, and you keep making mistakes. The things you want to do, you don't do, and the things you do, you don't want to do. I understand all that. But when you start to justify it, when you start to say, well, the Bible says, God never said don't do tax evasion. I mean, I guess there's a lot of examples I could think of, but then the Bible's got a lot of laws in it. So somewhere you could say tax evasion is theft, but that's fine. I could do the same thing with polygyny. I could say polygyny is adultery. It's coveting another man's wife. Well, no, she's my wife. Yeah, you took her off the market from another man. She could have been another man's wife, but you took her off the market because you're greedy. And you like dumb, and not even submissive in the good way. I mean, like retarded submissive type of women that would be into this in this day and age. Hey, didn't Paul say that? Paul did say that. Am I clipping? What am I peeking? I might be peeking. Check. I'm yelling. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. This is true.
Operates this way. Status quo does not prove real.
This is what I always tell Jalen. If you have an attraction to men and you have weaknesses of the flesh where you do nasty gay stuff, God can forgive that. And you can overcome that. But you ought not accept that and justify it and say God made you that way. That's where you're wrong. And when you start saying I'm a homosexual Christian, well, no. You're either a Christian or you're not. You can't add a contradictory qualifier to the beginning of it. That doesn't make any sense. Does it, Rich? Oh. I thought you said my mic was clip. Oh, you're going to clip. I am not a gay Christian.
Christianity. Case in point, Martin Luther in the Reformation believed that clergy could marry. The majority believed that clergy could not marry. Martin Luther went ahead and got married. And yes, of course, he is still a genuine Christian. So we're not.
Got married to multiple women, or he got married? Bible verse. Where is re-exam and Rev when I need them? Bible verse. Priests. Is it this? 1 Timothy 3:2. An overseer, a bishop or leader must be faithful to his wife, or the husband of one wife. Overseers, bishops. That's the priesthood. That's the leaders of the church. The priesthood, the bishops, are allowed to have one wife. Debate settled on that. There you go. And that's in 1 Timothy 3:2. That's the New Testament. Deacons must also be the husband of one wife and manage their children well. Titus 1:6, an elder must be blameless, the husband of one wife with faithful children. Okay. Well, my argument is, but that's only talking about priests, kings, elders, bishops, leaders. That's not talking about everybody else. All the poor people should be able to have as many wives as they want, right? Well, that disqualifies you, Rich, because you're a pastor, buddy. You don't qualify for the multiple wives. According to you, with your logic, the only way you could logic yourself out of this is to say, okay, well, poor people can have multiple wives. Well, I don't think you're poor, and you're a priest. But there's one kill shot verse that Rev put me onto. I think it's in Peter. Did I not call you priests and kings? Or I gotta find it. I forget exactly how it goes. First Peter 2:9 and Revelation. Revelation 1:6. Jesus has made us kings and priests to his God and Father. Jesus has made us kings and priests to his God and Father. Deuteronomy 17:17. Kings shall not multiply wives to themselves. 1 Timothy 3:2. Overseers must be faithful to his wife or the husband of one wife. Titus 1:6. An elder must be blameless, the husband of one wife. 1 Timothy 3:12. Deacons, the husband of one wife. Deacons, priests, bishops, kings. And did Christ not call us priests and kings to his Father, God? So shut up. You're already debunked. You're already lying to everybody. It's done. Debunked. That easy. Oh, but I got plenty more, ladies and gentlemen. And we haven't even got to the practical stuff. We're just talking about the biblical stuff.
Not able to say that, oh, you're not a real Scotsman if you put sugar in your oatmeal. You're supposed to put butter and salt in your oatmeal. That
No, but that's not a rule of being a Scotsman. That would be a no true Scotsman fallacy because there's no rule that says how you have to eat your toast to be a Scotsman. Two guys are born in Scotland. One wears a kilt, one doesn't. You say, well, he's not Scottish because he doesn't have a kilt. That's no true Scotsman fallacy because he is still Scottish. But if let's say we have 5 people wearing blue shirts and 5 people wearing red shirts, and a red shirt guy holds up his hand and he says, I'm a blue shirt guy. And we say, no, you're not a blue shirt because you're not wearing a blue shirt. And you say, no true Scotsman fallacy. You're an idiot.
doesn't make someone not a Scotsman just because they put sugar instead of salt in their oatmeal. So it's really important to
No, but it does make you not a Christian when you've been given over to a reprobate mind and you call good evil and evil good and you justify wrongdoing.
understand these things because a lot of these pop up during, I'm not going to point out every single one, but you're not off to a good start.
And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I keep trying to clarify it. I'm not saying that I'm perfect or that Christians have to be perfect and never do anything wrong. The problem is the justification and then adding it to your name as a Christian. Instead of being just a Christian, you're a polygynist Christian, a Christian polygynist. That's contradictory. If we say no, that doesn't work, dude. That's not a no true Scotsman fallacy.
If you start with a no true Scotsman, and then they're immediately going to present a straw man as well. Let's continue on.
Hey, who sent a super chat? Dark side. Found this in the couch cushions and figured you could use it. Thank you. I appreciate the super chats. Guys, I gotta redo this goal. This goal ended 19 days ago. Look at that. I gotta put a new goal up there. I was wondering if I should do my goals how I've been doing it, which is where it's like the next thing I need for the channel or the next like thing I want to get goals for, like stuff like that, like a StreamYard goal, get money for StreamYard or whatever. Or if I should do it like how Easy does it, where it's just a daily goal and I put it up there and then I restart it whether we hit it or not. I think I might start doing it that way. That's just a bunch of extra work. Then I have to do the dang goal bar every time I start a stream. What the?
There was a time when even the barbarians wanted children. He says, I have 2 beautiful wives. Tidwell wrote in a long entry, we are thrilled for what the Lord has done for our family. All right. So firstly, I don't know what his argument is, but
Okay, this is actually really important. It comes at you fast, okay? I don't know what his argument is. Okay, so if you don't know my argument, you can't steel man it, and you're not going to properly dismantle it.
I don't care what your argument is. You're wrong. You can't make an argument to say that murder is justified because murder inherently is unjustified.
So you're going to straw man, which is exactly what he's about to do. It's known as a straw man fallacy. And this is actually going to lead to a Dunning.
What is this, like my first ever debate class? We're learning the simplest, easiest fallacies, and he's not even describing them correctly. He said, he hasn't made a straw man yet. He just said, I don't know what his argument is, but it's probably bullshit. That's not a straw man. This guy doesn't, he just says that's a fallacy, obviously, and it's not. Hold on, I'm trying to find all my notes. I haven't compiled everything yet. I just have, what is this in Proverbs? Drink waters out of thine cistern and running waters out of thine own well. Let thy foundations be dispersed abroad and rivers of waters in the streets. Let them be only thine own and not strangers with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a stranger? For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he pondereth all his goings. His own iniquities shall take the wicked himself, and he shall behold him with the cords of his sins. It says his wife, the love of his youth. Take his wife, and her bosom will satisfy him. Not their bosoms shall satisfy him. It doesn't say take all the ladies of your youth that you were remotely attracted to, and their bosoms will satisfy you. No, it says take the woman, the love of your youth, and her bosoms will satisfy you. And don't be lost in strangers. Don't be going after strangers. And he'll say, well, my second wife's not a stranger. She was when you met her. Hey, we got a $5 shekel from Maryland. Dude, I feel like a pimp today. All the ladies is paying me. Give me them dividends. Shoot, I just forgot what I was on a train of thought. Yeah, not so take her. Oh yeah, the stranger. It says don't go to strangers. The wife of your youth, her bosom will satisfy you. Don't chase after strangers. His response to this, his way to justify and twist the scriptures would be to say something like, well, my second wife is not a stranger to me. She was at one time. She was while you were married to your wife. She was a stranger to you, and you went out to the stranger and you found her, and then you took her as a wife and brought her in to defile your home. And I'm not trying to talk bad about your family and stuff, Mr. Rich, but it's not of God. It's of the world.
Kruger effect, where they're just super confident in all of their statements. So I really would encourage you, both those watching and also the Timcast crew here that I'm responding to. This is not a great way to start off debates. It's actually a really weak position to start with a no.
They're not debating you, genius. They're critiquing you. They're doing what I'm doing right now. This is not a debate. I'm not going to name the video Debating Rich Tidwell. You know what I'll name my video, Debating Rich Tidwell, when I debate you. This is not a debate, Rich. You're not debating Tim Pool and Andrew Wilson right now. I know you titled the video that, but that's not what's happening here.
True Scotsman, and then follow it right up with a straw man, Dunning-Kruger, and also a confirmation bias. Just goofy. Not strong. I want to show you Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13. This is the English Standard. Says this: if one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. So Solomon.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you could cherry pick a verse to say what Tim's doing is wrong. Good job. Tim doesn't run around claiming to be a Christian or a pastor, and he's not debating you. He's critiquing you. And they read your article, so he's acting like they don't know anything about him. They're reading his article, right? Maybe they don't know anything about him. I don't know. And yes, I've done this before where I'll be talking, I'll be watching a video, and I'll make a comment, and then I'll play the video again. I'll pause it, make a comment, and then I'll play the video, and I'll find out that what I just said was wrong. Well, that was my folly and my shame. Yeah, I gave an answer before I heard, and it was to my folly and my shame. You're right. You're right, Rich. Got him. I can't wait till you show me all the verses that support biblical polygyny.
Wisest man ever to live apart from Jesus Christ himself. And Solomon makes this very clear.
The wisest simp to ever live. Even the wisest man to ever live fell for the woman and fell for the lust of the flesh. Just like Adam, just like David, just like Samson, just like Solomon, just like, I know there's more. There's plenty more.
Statement, and he says,
and I hope he brings up, was it Jacob that married Leah and her sister, Rebecca? Was it Jacob who married Leah? It's either Jacob or Leah and Rachel. I think it's Jacob. Patriarch Jacob. Okay, Patriarch Jacob had multiple wives. Jacob worked for 7 years to take the one woman that he had his eye on. He worked his butt off for 7 years, essentially as a slave for 7 years, till the year of Jubilee, where he was freed as a slave, essentially. And he was working his butt off for 7 years as a servant, as a slave, for one woman that he had his eye on. And the guy tricked him and made him marry his other daughter. Then he worked for 7 years and he took Leah as his wife. Now, one of those marriages was under the umbrella of God. One of them was not. One of them was a deception. It was a trick. But when you look at the whole story of Jacob, what happens to the children that, which was the one, okay, what about the children that Jacob had with Leah? What happens to them? Nothing of importance. They don't get mentioned much anymore. Was it Ishmael? I think he had Ishmael and Isaac. And then Ishmael was his kid with Leah. You don't hear nothing about Ishmael no more. He disappears. He goes off and lives with the Canaanites. But you know what happens to his child with Rebecca, whom he loved? He didn't even love Leah. He got tricked into marrying her. So that's a stupid example if you bring up Jacob. Please bring up Jacob.
If somebody gives an answer before they even hear the argument.
That whole family was cursed on Leah's side. Buddy. What are you talking about? And Rebecca, whom he loved, whom he was trying to marry, the one woman he wanted to marry, that becomes Joseph and the 12 all the brothers, the 12 tribes of Israel. I may be getting a little mixed up in my names here.
Argument, it's their folly and shame, and that's the truth. I'm literally about to rip apart every single thing they say because they didn't take the time to actually.
Dude, I've ripped apart everything you've said, and you haven't even said anything yet.
Hear me out or read anything that I had written on my website at richtidwell.com or to listen to any of my statements. They just have a cognitive bias, which results in a prejudice against polygyny, and they're not willing to hear anything in opposition.
No, it's not a preference against polygyny, dude. If I had my preference, if I wanted to be a degen and I wanted to embrace the world, I would love to have a harem. What are you talking about? Have a different wife every day of the week? Different sandwich at every meal served to me on a platter? Of course what do you mean I'm prejudiced for that? That sounds like a good idea. I understand why so many people would be inclined to do it. But guess what? I would also love to do a bunch of heroin right now, but I'm not going to do that because I'd end up dead. It would be not good. I would be bad. But it feels really good. In the moment, it's the best feeling you could ever have. And God never told me not to do heroin. So why don't I just do heroin?
Because the truth is, if you start to believe that polygyny is righteous, just look,
If you start to believe that polygyny is righteous, not if you realize that polygyny is righteous, if you start to believe that polygyny is righteous, then your whole world will change. You'll instantly become a degenerate. JS, you just real hungry. I am hungry.
had literally millions of people encounter my family this past week and decide that they hated it. And, yeah, that's pretty substantial for anybody. I've been getting checked in on by friends and supporters, and they're like, how are you holding up? And I'm like, the Holy Spirit. When you know that you're standing on the word of God, it actually doesn't matter how big the multitude is that comes after you. Let's go. Let's continue on.
Assume he's actually probably making some version of the argument that the left will often make when we talk about marriage and biblical.
Again, I assume that he's making this argument. That's terrible.
Yeah, I'll agree with them on this. They should have. They should hear him out on his arguments. Now, I'm not here to be good faith. If I debated him, I would be good faith. But right now, I'm here to roast and debunk this bullcrap. I don't care if it's him, Rob, Glenn, any of these red-pilled dorks who want to justify being Coomers and having multiple wives, and they think they're Solomon. Y'all ain't Solomon, okay? You do not have the wisdom of Solomon. And even Solomon was not wise enough to not fall for the lust of the flesh. So you're not making any good points. So I'm really just debunking all the biblical polygyny together, not specifically his arguments. But I'll listen. He's right. They should have learned his arguments before they started attacking them and assuming. But they're also doing a show, and so they're thinking and speaking extemporaneously, and they're just talking about the topic. And he's saying, well, I assume his argument's probably going to be something like this, and then they're going to watch it maybe and see what your argument is. I don't know. I haven't seen the Tim Pool video yet. Maybe they won't. Am I a fool in my folly? What if I say maybe?
Morality, which is the Bible has polygamy in it. Not everything that the Bible describes is something it's recommending that you do.
Okay, so that's not my claim. Again, this is the problem with the straw man. The biblical narrative.
No, his claim is the opposite. His claim is that since the Bible doesn't forbid it, it's not a sin and it's okay.
Includes stories of murder, but murder is unlawful in God's law. So I'm not just encountering stories and going, oh, it's okay to do this because I read it in the Bible. That, again, is a straw man, and it's not the correct presentation of my position. Now, here's the deal. In 1 John chapter 3, verse 4, it says this. This is going to be pivotal to our entire conversation in this video. It says this: everyone who makes a practice of sinning also practices lawlessness. Sin is lawlessness. In fact, the King James would say sin is transgression of the law. In other words, it's a violation of the law.
I agree with this.
So either way, however you say it, sin is lawlessness or sin is transgression of the law. What it means is you're not abiding by the law of God. So the law of God is established. That's the divine law. Sin is to violate or deviate or ignore, which would be a violation, that law. Okay, that's the point that 1 John chapter 3, verse 4 makes. That's kind of a summary of how sin works. Then if we go to Romans chapter 4, verse 15, it says, for the law brings wrath, but where there is no law, there is no transgression. Okay, so if there's no law in the Word of God that prohibits a certain action, then there is no transgression if that action is committed. Now, people will say, oh, well, but this law is not there, or that.
Well, that's what I've heard other ones say. What is this? Romans 4:15. Hold on a second. Romans 4:15. Oh, I was on 3. Hold on. Let's go a little. The promise depends on faith, righteousness through faith. What shall we say then that Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, hath found? For if Abraham were justified by works, he hath whereof to glory, but not before God. For what saith the scripture? Abraham believed God, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. Now to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace, but of debt. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. Even as David also describeth the blessedness of the man, unto whom God imputeth righteousness without works, saying, "Blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven and whose sins are covered. Blessed is the man to whom the Lord will not impute sin. Cometh this blessedness then upon the circumcision only, or upon the uncircumcision also? For we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness. How was it then reckoned when he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision? Not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision. And he received the sign of circumcision, a seal of the righteousness of the faith, which he had yet being uncircumcised, that he might be the father of all them that believe, that they be not circumcised, that righteousness might be imputed unto them also. And the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only, but who also walk in the steps of that faith of our father Abraham, which he had being yet uncircumcised. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. For if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect. Because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. Therefore it is of faith, that it might be by grace, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, not to that only which is of the law, but to that also which is of the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all. As it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before him whom he believed, even God, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those which be not as though they were. He calls things be though not as they were. I love that part. Who against hope believed in hope. Yeah, I don't think that's saying what he's trying to say. Stop being a degree. What's up, Wally? Just learn how to read good and do other things good too. Yeah, anyway, the point is, the only reason I read all that is to show you that in context, it's not saying that just because something's not written in a law book doesn't mean it's wrong. There's no law that talks about bestiality. Actually, there are. But it's not in I don't think it's in the like Levitical law. It's just throughout. There's things that God says, don't do this. And if God is the moral arbiter and the moral lawmaker, if God says, don't do this, it would be immoral to do it. So just because it's not in the Levitical law doesn't mean you can just freely do it. The whole point of this is saying that through faith, whether Abraham was of the law or not of the law, he believed in God and he was one with God. Even if you didn't know the law, the scripture's written on our heart. So anyway, another cherry-picked verse that doesn't say what he thinks it's saying.
That law is not there. That's typically not accurate. What I've found every single time people are bringing up, well, there's no law against this, there's no law against that. They're actually speaking from ignorance and they don't actually know. So for example, if you go to Leviticus 18, gives a great example of all forms of fornication. Adultery is one form of fornication, but there's a bunch of different sexual immoralities listed there. So when the New Testament says sexual immoralities, it's really referring to Leviticus 18, Leviticus 20, some of the Deuteronomy chapters, and it's referring to...
Oh, you don't like talking about Deuteronomy much. You really love Exodus, though.
Sexual sins that are explicitly listed. Things that aren't listed aren't sins. In fact, polygyny, because it is not prohibited, but rather regulated, that actually indicates and verifies to the reader that it's lawful, because homosexuality is prohibited. You cannot practice it. Polygyny is regulated, which means you can practice it. That is a huge, important understanding to have. So the Bible narrative includes polygyny, okay? Even bad, cases, bad events like Sarah and Hagar, they didn't get along. You're going to find bad events. I'm not acting like everything is rosy, but I do want to present, and I brought this up in the Ben Shapiro response too. Adam and Eve sinned horrifically, and we don't blame monogamy. Okay, so we don't go, oh, Adam and Eve committed the worst sin ever.
Okay, hold on. I need to take a few notes. What did he just say? God in the Bible commit the worst sin ever? If he's saying God gave men multiple wives, therefore multiple wives are good is good. Well, God also killed David's first child, who was born, maybe not his first child with Bathsheba. He killed their first child because it was born out of adultery. So if God did it, does that mean it's justified? Does that mean we can do it? No. Just because the cop speeds to catch a criminal doesn't mean you get to speed wherever you want. Hold on. Okay, so posty. A little posty note. I need to write all these verses down. So I'm going to put for and against. I'm going to do against first because I have a ton already ready. So against Bible verses. Against. So in order, we have Deuteronomy 17. Deuteronomy 17:17. Let me make a folder. Because even if I don't debate him on this, I'll debate Glenn about it. Non-biblical polygyny. I don't even know how to spell that word. There's way too many Y's in that word. Deuteronomy 17:17. And then jump to 1 Timothy 3:2. And now it's saying Leviticus 21:7. It says they may choose their wives only from among the virgins of Israel or the widows of the priests. They may not marry other widows or divorced women. They may choose their wives, meaning multiple men with all the men may choose their wives. That's not saying he may choose wives. It's saying they may choose wives. What do we got? Okay, 1 Timothy 3:2. 1 Timothy 3:12. And Titus 1:6. And I'm going to read those because I just read little summaries real quick. 1 Timothy 3:2 says, I don't want NIV. He likes ESV. I'll use ESV. That's fine. I like ESV too. This one. Therefore, an overseer, or, and then in parentheses says, or bishop, the Greek Episkopos, a similar term occurs in verse 1. Episkopos, a bishop, an overseer, a leader, must be above reproach, the husband of one wife, sober-minded, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach. That's 1 Timothy 3:2. So an overseer, husband of one wife, or also it could be translated a man of one woman. And it's also in verse 12. 1 Timothy 3:12. Let deacons each be the husband of one wife, managing their children and their own households as well. Now, if you are an idiot and you read that incorrectly, you might think what that means is that is that all the deacons are married to one woman. What would that be? Polyamory? No, that's not what that means. The deacons can each have one wife. So we have overseers, deacons, kings, and then we go to Titus. Titus 1:6. Whoop. Why did that not work? Titus 1:6. Why is this not working? If anyone is above reproach, the husband of one wife, and his children are believers, and not open to the charge of debauchery or insubordination. So, meaning if you had multiple wives, you would not be above reproach. You are reproachable. Therefore, I shall reproach you, my boy. You are reproachable, and you are open to the charge of debauchery and insubordination. Who are you insubordinate to? God, your wife? What about debauchery? Well, it's sexual debauchery. You're an abomination, my boy. You are not above reproach. And that's why so many Christians reproach you. Hold on, let me read the full chapter. Paul, a servant of God and an apostle of Jesus Christ, for the sake of the faith of God's elect and their knowledge of the truth, which accords with godliness, in hope of eternal life, which God, who never lies, promised before the ages began, and at the proper time manifested in his word through the preaching with which I have been entrusted by the command of God our Savior. To Titus, my true child in a common faith, grace and peace from God the Father and Jesus Christ our Savior. Qualifications for elders. This is why I left you in Crete, so that you might put what remained into order and appoint elders in every town as I directed you. If anyone is above reproach, the husband of one wife, and his children are believers, and not open to the charge of debauchery or insubordination, for an overseer as God's steward must be above reproach. He must not be arrogant or quick-tempered or a drunkard or violent or greedy for gain. Now, I'm some of those things, but I'm not the pastor, and I'm not telling you that God's okay with it and you should just keep doing it. In fact, he encourages it. I'm not saying that. I am not above reproach, but I'm not a pastor. As God's steward, but hospitable, a lover of good, self-controlled, upright, holy, disciplined. He must hold firm to the trustworthy word as taught, so that he may be able to give instruction in sound doctrine and also rebuke those who contradict it. Okay, so that's Titus. And then we go to Revelation. Where was it? Revelation 1:6. Do a little bit more of the chapter. John, the seven churches which are in Asia, grace be unto you and peace from him which is and which was and which is to come, from the seven spirits which are before his throne, and from Jesus Christ, who is faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So for Christians, Christ has made us kings and priests. And we know kings and priests are not supposed to multiply wives unto themselves, buddy. Deuteronomy. Oh, not Deuteronomy. Revelation. Revelation 1:6. And then his verses are, what was that? Exodus. I'm trying to find that other verse he put up. Proverbs. No.
Either way, if there's aggression, if they're born around kiss 18, its law is unmine. And I brought polygamy is divine. Sit for if he shall not diminish her food.
This one, this is their go-to. This is their one go-to verse. Oh, and I also have Proverbs. Proverbs 5. (15 through 20). Proverbs 5, 15 through 20. And then I also have, oh, I got a lot more. How about Proverbs 18? There's somewhere, I didn't highlight it. Somewhere in Proverbs 18, or maybe a man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. It's not the best one, but notice it says, whoso findeth a wife. I guess I could put that one in there, but it's not a very good one for this point. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing. It doesn't say whoso findeth lots of wives. That's Proverbs 18:22. What else do I got in here? Oh, then I have men can be adulterous. I don't think that's this guy. I don't think this guy makes this argument, but somebody I heard, who was it? It might have been Tazariak. that was saying only men, or maybe it was Rob Kolowski, only men. It was him. He made it a post. He said adultery only applies to women. Men can't be adulterous. Only women can be adulterous. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. Like the commandments only apply. What do you, well, I'm not even going to write this one down, but if that guy ever debates, oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, that I might leave my people and go from them. For they be all adulterers, an assembly of treacherous men. Treacherous men, adulterers. So you can be a man and be an adulterer. Then we have Hosea. Mm. Three, three. I said unto her, thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. This is Hosea talking to Gomer. And she says, I shall go to my first husband. Now she was the harlot, she was the whore. But when she says she'll go to her first husband, it implies that she's marrying some of these other suitors. She's running away from Hosea and she's marrying other men. So this is a woman having multiple husbands, and she says, I'm going to return to my first husband because things were better with him. And then Hosea says, and that's in verse 2, or that's in 2:5. But then you read through it, of course, which I've done live. You go to 3:3, and this is Hosea talking to Gomer, and Hosea tells her, I said unto her, thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. He's not going to be with other women. He's for her and she's for him. One husband, one wife. That you could just do all of Hosea 3 and 4 because you kind of need the context. Hosea 3:3 is the exact verse. Because, you got to know the context that you're talking about. Mark 10:11. I know we were talking about Mark 10:11. We read Mark 10:11 yesterday. Oh, proves men can be adulterous. Oh, look at Proverbs 5. It talks about being satisfied with the wife of your youth. You're here late, buddy. We already did that. We already did 5:15 through 20. I'm just trying to think of all of them. And then what else do I have here? Then we have Mark 7. I thought it was Mark 7:10. Oh no, it's Mark 10. It's Mark 10:7. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. Twain means two. It doesn't mean two or more. It means two. The Greek word there is dio, which sounds similar to duo for a reason, because it means two. Dio does not mean a multitude. It means two. Those two shall be one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. All right. And then Mark 10, 6 through 9. Now, okay, so, and I'm sure there's a lot more in here, but I've got Deuteronomy 17:17, 1 Timothy 3:2, 1 Timothy 3:12, Titus 1:6. All of this ties into Revelation 1:6, which isn't talking about biblical polygamy or anything like that, but you could tie it in with Titus and Timothy and Deuteronomy. And then Proverbs 5:15 through 20, Proverbs 18:22, not the best one, but it works. Hosea 3:3, but you have to know the context from chapters 2 and chapters 3 to understand how that could be a reference to polygyny or just adultery in general, which I would argue polygamy or polygyny would be adultery. And then when you say, if he says, well, what's the name of the sin? Because I heard Rob say this to Andrew. Name the sin. Name the sin. Adultery. There's one. Sexual depravity. I don't know. What do they call sexual abominations or something? Adultery. That's a good one. And then they say, well, that's for women. No, dummy. That's not true. And then I have Mark's 10, 6 through 9. And I think that's one of the best ones. So these three tie in with this one. These are just a couple scattered things. But then the broadest point, without just, because then somebody could say, well, you're just cherry picking verses. Even though I'm reading them in full context, I'm going from verse to verse to verse, forming an idea, and then taking you to a verse that justifies my logic for how I come to this point. But there's a whole nother thing here. My whole point about every patriarch, every king, every judge who took multiplied wives unto himself, it never turned out good. It was always a bad deal. Falling for the lust of the flesh and basically just simp nature, simp Coomer nature. It always leads to calamity. Hi, Avarice.
Her clothing or her marital rights. Okay, so this is just an example, quick example of polygyny being regulated, not prohibited. For example, homosexuality in Leviticus 18, it would say is an abomination.
Okay, so this is their go-to verse. So for the 4 side, we have Exodus 21:10. And this law was written specifically for vulnerable slave wives, guys who were taking slaves. Oh, well, I guess slavery is good too. Guys who were taking slave wives or servant wives, multiplying servant wives unto themselves. It's not justifying it, but it's saying, if you do it, you better take care of it. It's the same as divorce. And this is Mosaic law because they could not live by the letter of the law. The hardness of their hearts, there were exceptions to be made. They knew people were going to take slaves, and they knew people were going to take multiple wives. And at the time, with a very small tribe, I guess there's an argument you could be made that for practicality, they had to do the polygamy to spread faster, but that still doesn't make sense. You would multiply faster if you had 5 men with 5 women. I mean, I guess it doesn't really affect it either way. If you have 5 men and 5 women, and those 5 men and each one has 1 woman, 1 man, 5 couples, they would be able to put out 5 babies every 9 months. If you have one man with 5 wives, he can still only make 5 babies every 9 months. So what are you talking about?
Nation, divorce. God hates divorce. You know, you'll find passages like this in scripture. You do not find anything like that regarding polygyny. All the vitriol and hatred comes from human mouths, and not.
He's wrong. He's lying to you, or he doesn't know his Bible. I venture to say it's the first one.
The mouth of God, not the word of God. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verses 15 through 17 says this: if a man has 2 wives, the one loved and the other unloved, and both the loved and the unloved have borne him children, and if the firstborn son belongs to the unloved, then on the day when he assigns his possessions as an inheritance to his sons, he may not treat the son of the loved as the firstborn in preference to the son of the unloved, who is the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the unloved, by giving him a double portion of all that he has, for he is the firstfruits of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. Now, why am I reading this? Well, 2 reasons. Number 1, it's another regulation of polygyny. Number 2, it identifies.
This is exactly talking about Jacob. This happened to Jacob. This is the story that happened to Jacob. Also, hey, thank you, Pix Paradox. I saw you in Cool Vic's chat, and he was saying he met you at DebateCon, which means I probably met you at DebateCon, but I don't know who you are. And I've never seen you in my chat. So if you would have came up to me and been like, hey, I'm Pix Paradox in chat, I wouldn't have. Which one were you? Right now, I'm working on my DebateCon 8 video. It's going to be fire, I think. It's going to be a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, the Crucible party. I got a lot of footage from the Crucible party. I got a lot of footage from the IRL VK. I got a little clip in there from Crucible headquarters, but you can't really tell. All it looks like is we're in a garage, because we were in a garage, but there's a little bit of footage from Andrew Wilson's Crucible headquarters where all the magic happens. We were basically in his studio taking pictures, but I don't have a lot of pictures from there because I didn't really want to be taking pictures at his house. But the video is going to be fire. I still got a lot of editing to do, though, so don't rush me. I also I went on Kick, and I clipped the parts where me and Easy and where Steelborn and Easy were talking to Darius. And so I'm going to upload that. It's hard to hear what we're really saying, and his chat is like roasting all of us. And I got the chat on the screen in the video. I'm just gonna post it, so hopefully, maybe if it gets his attention. He already said he wanted to do some debates and he wanted to get on some panels and stuff. So if we can make a connection with Darius, then we can make a connection with Destiny. And if anybody's like, why are you being all friendly with him? Because that's what I'm trying to network, baby. I'm trying to get the big debates going. Avarice got my hat. Avarice got your hat. I thought he took his hat. He took your hat. Oh my God, I can't remember who you are. I remember somebody saying Avarice got his hat. Or took somebody's hat. Avarice takes stuff from everybody, though. It's like his little keepsakes. He has like a little knick-knack chest of things that he stole from people. Who be that? Darius is a Kick streamer. He's friends with Destiny. So you're Steelborn? Yeah, I thought he stole. I don't know. He probably stole multiple people's hats. You hung with Vic all weekend? Okay, then did you show up with him? Are you one of the guys that showed up with him? Anyway, I'm sure I saw you around. Oh yeah, that was Steelborn. Avarice took Steelborn's hat, but I guess he also took this guy's hat. But anyway, yeah, I probably saw you. Did we talk at all? I don't know. Anyway, well, now that I know who you are, because I see you in my chat, and thank you for the super chat again. If you're ever at one in the future, then definitely say, hey, I'm Pix Paradox. So I can put the name to the face. All right. What do you think about this re-exam? So this is like almost specifically talking about Jacob's story. And this is Deuteronomy. So this is after the story of Jacob. Jacob married 2 women, one he loved and one he didn't love. He was tricked into that marriage. And the honorable thing to do would be to marry Leah, even though he didn't want to, and then work his butt off again for 7 more years to marry Rachel or Rebecca, or I'm so bad with names, guys. But why would a man have two wives, one he loves and one he doesn't love? And both the loved and unloved have borne him children. And if the firstborn son belongs to the unloved, then on the day when he assigns his possessions as an inheritance to his son, he may not treat the son of the loved as the firstborn in preference. He may not treat the son of the loved as the firstborn in preference to the son of the unloved, who is the firstborn, but he shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the unloved, by giving him double portion of all that he has. For he is the firstfruits of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. But that's kind of the opposite of what happens with Jacob. Because Jacob, okay, so he has Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan. Yes, the 11 tribes all come from Leah, except for Joseph and Benjamin. Now, I don't know if Jacob gave Reuben the double the inheritance or whatever, but it didn't really matter because they were all poor and in famine, and Joseph took basically the rights of the firstborn, and they all bowed down to him. Not Jacob, Joseph. Joseph is the firstborn of Rachel, which is the wife whom Jacob loved, and he gets the blessings. He becomes basically a king, or working for the king, working for the Pharaoh, the hand of Pharaoh. But what happened to Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah? I mean, yeah, they became 11 of the 12 tribes of Israel. Leah also gave birth to Jacob's only named daughter, Dinah. But anyway, so this is like what happened to Jacob. And this is one example of a weird law that's put in there. If a man has 2 wives, if this weird thing happens, here's how you deal with it. If this happens, here's what you should do. Here's how you take care of the problem. If it said something like, since men have multiple wives, Stillborn. Hey, thank you. Towards the Uber rides. Let's go. Nice. If it said, since men typically have multiple wives, one is loved and one is unloved, then blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't. It says, if a man has 2 wives. Dude, there's so many weird laws in Leviticus and Deuteronomy that this is like if somebody's riding, you're not allowed to ride your donkey in the shopping mall or something. Just because at one point somebody rode a donkey through a shopping mall and then they had to make a law about it. But before it was written into law, it was still a transgression to ride your donkey through the mall. There's like some weird laws. States have like weird laws. I got to get through this.
Identifies both women as wives, which the scriptures do not say wife and mistress, wife and adulteress, wife and harlot. They say wife and wife. And so each one flesh union is its own individual genuine union. That's why both women are called wives. And
Deuteronomy 21:15-17. Hold on one second. One second. Let me look at my folders. Okay, where's Titus? Titus 1:6. Un momento. The voice. Where's ESV? I'm only using ESV because it's what he's using. And then Revelation, save that. And then Exodus 21:2. No, Mosaic law does not sanction polygamy. Expository parenting ministries. Let's see. Let's see what this says. Polygamy in the Bible, is it allowed? Polygamy, resurgent of discussion among many professing Christians, some arguing that it is not only biblically permissible, but good. Most cultures today still view polygamy as abhorrent. When pressed, Christians may struggle to develop a thoroughly biblical argument against it. Oh, I'm doing it right now. Some so-called pastors argue that Scripture's lack of explicit condemnation, especially in the Old Testament, leaves room for its legitimacy in Christian marriage. But as we'll see, Scripture is clear. Polygamy has no place in God's creation order. Okay. The two shall become one flesh. Matthew 19:5-6. The number of participants in marriage is 2. 1 Corinthians 6. What verse? What verse? 1 Corinthians 6 what? No brother goes to the Lord. Oh, this kind of ties in with his question or his thing about lawlessness. God will destroy both one and the other. Wait. God will destroy both one and the other. The body is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. Oh, kind of like a marriage. And God raised the Lord and will also raise us up by his power. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Shall I then take members of Christ and make them members of a prostitute? Never. Or do you not know that he who is joined to a prostitute becomes one body with her? For as it is written, the two will become one flesh. But he who's joined to the Lord becomes one spirit with him. Flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexual immoral person sins against his own body. Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. So what is it? 1 Corinthians 6. I mean, it's still just repeating. (12 through 20). 1 Corinthians 6, 12 through 20. What else we got? I'm looking for what they're saying about. In the Old Testament, law regulated this practice just as it regulated divorce. It's a hard issue. And James said that to Rob on a call-in. James Life Talks. Exodus 2, 10, and 11, and Deuteronomy 21, 15, and 17 speak directly about husbands who take more than one wife. These passages do not say that husbands should take more than one wife, but if they do, the law is concerned with making sure that all wives and their children are treated fairly, because people were taking slaves as multiple wives, and they were abusing the crap out of them. And that's how the Bible doesn't say you should have a bunch of slaves. But if you have slaves, here's how you should treat them. It doesn't say you should marry multiple wives, but if you have multiple wives, if you did, here's how you should treat them. And it does tell you not to take multiple wives. And it does tell you you should free your slaves eventually. The passage, okay. If they do, the law is concerned with making sure they are treated fairly, rather than simply telling the husband to cast that second wife and her children out into destitution. God instead tells the husband to give his second wife all her marital rights. In some cases, the second wife might be more loved than the first, like for example with Jacob. He did not love Leah. He didn't want to marry Leah. He was tricked into marrying Leah. So that's your answer for, well, what about our patriarch Jacob? And Abraham married a slave because his wife wasn't making babies, and instead of having faith, he sleeps with the slave girl, or the housemaid, whatever she was. And that is that Rachel, Sarah and Rachel? But anyway, and the whole point of that story, that's Isaac and Ishmael. Jacob and Esau, Isaac and Ishmael. Yeah, Ishmael is the one born first of the slave lady. I don't know what happens to Ishmael. I think he's mentioned one time later on in the Bible, but otherwise you don't hear nothing about Ishmael. But Isaac becomes great. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Solomon, David. That's the downline. Ishmael's not part of that. Where's he go? He just disappears. And that's because he got impatient. He didn't think that Sarah was going to be able to make him a baby. He didn't have enough faith. And he slept with a woman. And he had the most faith. He had the most faith. Like Solomon was the wisest guy, but he wasn't wise enough to not fall for the lust of the woman. Abraham had the most faith, but he didn't have enough faith in God to wait for God's time for Isaac to be born. Instead, he rushed it and slept with the dang slave girl. That's not under the umbrella of God. God would have told him, wait, I'm going to open her womb one day. Deuteronomy 21:15-17. Okay. What's chat talking about? Exodus 21 says, when you sell your daughter into slavery, it's not saying God made daughters to sell as slaves. Right, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, there's so many examples that we can find like that. There's it says if a man steals his neighbor's plow, or if a man steals his neighbor's cow or something, then he needs to pay him back. Well, that doesn't mean you should steal your neighbor's cow, and then as long as you pay him back, it's okay. This is such retarded logic.
And you've got to understand this. Now, this came up in the Ben Shapiro podcast as well. I'll just bring it up again real quick. Wives and concubines are two different.
Ishmael was blessed to be a great nation because his father was Abraham. Yeah, re-exam, you can. I could be wrong about Ishmael. Maybe nothing bad happened to Ishmael. My point is, he wasn't greatness. You don't hear about Ishmael after that. What's up?
Yo, so I want to point out the fact that just because he says, oh, it says wives here, that proves absolutely nothing. Just because somebody who is a subsequent wife is called wife, just because the same word is used, it proves nothing. For example, Jesus says, if you marry a divorced woman, then you commit adultery. Well, isn't it still a marriage because the word marry was used? No, that's just the word we use. We qualify it by whether or not it's legitimate or not. So by his own logic of like, is this a species of word concept fallacy? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So him saying, well, it says wives, proves nothing. Proves absolutely nothing. I mean, otherwise, what is Jesus saying to the woman of the well? Oh, you've had 5 husbands. Does that mean that all those were legit? I mean, come on. Yeah. So
he did answer to that. Well, he preemptively answered to that. He said it doesn't say if a man remarries. So he thinks it means 2 at the same time, but yeah, it could be.
Then why did Jesus bring it up? If they're all legit, then what was Jesus' point? Oh, you've remarried legitimately 5 times. Really? What?
Well, yeah, and then there's that whole one about if a man has 7 wives when he goes to heaven, and it's in the parable about, well, when they're trying to trick Jesus, and they ask him, well, what happens if he marries a woman and doesn't have a kid with her? Or I forget how they ask.
Here's how it goes. The Sadducees don't believe in heaven. They don't believe in the resurrection of the afterlife. They ask Jesus based on how there's a thing called I think it was levirate marriages, where the rule was if you have a guy,
brother's wife.
Here's how it goes. Woman marries man. Man has brothers, right? If the man dies before he has offspring with that woman, it's supposed to be the next in line who is supposed to marry her so that he could carry forth that line. But if that next guy dies, and that next guy dies, and that next guy dies, and they've all married her in this life, the Sadducees presupposed that the marriage would continue between the two or however many people in heaven. And then so they were trying to use that to disprove heaven itself, to say that there are absurdities going on. But Jesus points out that people in heaven are neither married nor given in marriage, but are like the angels in heaven.
Right.
That was the point of that passage. And that's based on levirate marriages is the idea.
Yeah, and my only point though was that would be a case where that wife had 7 husbands. But that doesn't mean she had 7 husbands at the same time.
No, because Romans 7 Romans 7, 2 and 3 makes it clear if your husband dies or your spouse dies, you can marry another. Same thing with 1 Corinthians 7:39. A great channel for you to check out is Chris Iverson's Divorce Your Remarriage channel. He's got a book on not just polygamy, and well, he does videos on polygamy, especially Rich Tidwell here. But he knows.
What's his name?
Chris Iverson. I got his book actually on my bookshelf behind me. I mean, I'm not on my bookshelf right now, but it's a great book about what is a marriage, what are legitimate marriages, Is there, and basically the point of it is a divorce is just a piece of paper. If you're really married to that person, you are
You're
family. You can't.
spiritually. I hate to sound like a Mormon, but they call it spiritually sealed. I think we could use that too. It's probably in the Bible somewhere.
I think Chris nails it when he says that when you're married, you are family, and you can't unfamily your family. And the whole point where Jesus says divorce and remarriage is adultery 7 times in the Bible is because once you're married, a divorce, the whole point of him saying that in Matthew 19:8 that it was given for hardness of heart, but from the beginning it was not so, was exactly what you were saying. Is a regulation, but it's not an actual ceasing of the marriage. Marriage was still ongoing. It was a legal civil law to protect from anything worse happening than would have continued otherwise. Like, say the man hated his wife so much he offed her or something like that. So like, we're just going to give you a bill of divorcement, and then you just get it to her, and then you let her go. But that was not saying that marriages, for example, we look at the pro-life movement. The pro-life movement says, this is a baby if I feel like it's a baby, but if I don't want it, then it's not a baby. Most churches are the same way with marriage. They think it's a marriage if I want it, or it's a marriage or it's not a marriage if I don't want it. And they think that it is a contract rather than actually being made one by God.
Yeah,
the
one
two becoming
flesh
one.
under the umbrella of God. Yeah. Yep.
So-
Yeah, does this guy even debate people? Like, he has all these debates on his channel, but it's not debates. He's reacting to videos.
I think Andrew has tried to debate him. I don't know if he got successfully there, but I think he's not. I think he's been dodging Andrew.
Well, he called Andrew out directly in this video. This is him reacting to Andrew.
Yeah, and I think he called out Ben Shapiro as well.
Yep.
When Ben Shapiro went up against polygamy, but I don't know if he's ever debated. The guy's weird. The guy's flat weird. Like, it's insane. And his so-called sermons. I remember he went on this, Jew spree kind of thing about. It's ridiculous. The guy's ridiculous. So I'm glad you're doing a video on this. All these passages you're pulling up are very relevant. The one in Hosea is a good point. I'd have to look more into all that stuff, but the easiest, especially if they propose to believe in the New Testament, is Mark 10:11, is committing adultery against her. Well, here's what they do. They'll take your statement and be like, oh, well, yeah, you're one flesh with your wife. One become two. But it's a multiverse of marriage where you have a marriage here and you're one flesh with her, and you have a marriage there, you're one flesh with her, and they're not one flesh with each other. But it's kind of like that's kind of hard to that's kind of hard to avoid though, because if they're not one flesh with each other, but they're one flesh with you, then by proxy they're one flesh with each other because they share that you-ness that is one flesh with others. But they try and make a quantum person that has like multiple marriages simultaneously that don't commingle. Go ahead.
I even went, well, because in the King James version it says these twain shall become one flesh, and
yeah, you point.
And then in the other translations, it says these two. So to make sure, I went to the Strongs and checked the Greek, and it's dio, which means two. Duo, dio. So it means two. It's not just this multiplicity, however many you want. It's two.
Well, no, but the way they get around that is like, again, theoretical physics. They will
once
say,
me and my wife are one flesh, I can find another wife and make her part of this one flesh.
It would be like you're a sun, and then you're as an sun in the sky, sun in the sky, and then you get this planet orbiting you and that planet orbiting you, and they all have independent orbits, but you're still the sun.
Or what?
Yeah, but it's like yeah.
Yeah.
So you each have a gravitational link with each other that are independent of the other planets, and you just get to be in the middle with all your planet harem.
And Glenn said he'll do this debate, but I would rather get a guy like this. He's got 83,000 subscribers. The problem is he would probably look at my channel and be like, "Oh, he's not big enough. He's not worth it." But you'd think he would just jump at the chance to crush some little guy that, but
yeah, you got to find that sweet spot where it just big enough to, what you need to do? You need to have Juicy start a channel and then he thinks it's Juicy challenging him, and then everybody's going to subscribe to Juicy, and then and then he wakes up, and then you take the mask off and be like, "What now? It's JS Urban Adventures." Anyway,
Well, Juicy would be for polygamy, but he ain't
Yeah, he would.
marrying nobody.
yeah, you got to learn how to be faithful first, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was the main point I wanted to bring up was when he started talking about, oh, well, it says wives. It's like, means nothing, sir. Means absolutely nothing. So, JS, you have a great day. Thanks for having me on. And like and subscribe, everybody.
Thank you. All right, back to this, y'all.
Statuses, but they are both wives.
So far, this guy's not said anything. Now we're only 12 minutes into the video, but so far this guy's not said anything that makes me like, wow, that's a good point. I don't know how I'm going to get around that one.
A wife, by label and by definition, is for love. There's a real affection there. There's a passion between them. A concubine is more like a business arrangement where the woman and the man make an agreement. They're not necessarily passionately affectionate or attracted to each other, but they have a business arrangement where he will provide material provision and inheritance rights to the children of the concubine. The children of the concubine will receive possessions and protection and what have you, and so will the concubine. And the concubine delivers children. So she provides progeny and the patriarch provides provision. Okay, that's the simplification of it. So again, back to the point. He said, not everything that the Bible describes is it recommending. That's not my
Provides provisions is redundant, by the way.
claim. I'm making the point that polygyny is lawful and at times it is divinely inspired.
That's what I was thinking too, Coco. If I debate Glenn on it, and then post it and send it, I don't know, find a way to send it to this guy or get him to see it.
What he presented here was a genetic fallacy. So once again, it's another fallacy. It's formed by making a statement like this, okay?
Whatever the origin of the idea came from, if it's a bad origin, it's bad.
Sinners practice polygyny, therefore polygyny bad, right? But that's no different than saying sinners practice monogamy, therefore monogamy bad. So Adam and Eve sinned, monogamy is still holy. Okay, so we can't commit that genetic fallacy. And so what are we at? We're at like three logical fallacies and 2 cognitive biases. This is a lot of.
Tim and them didn't say anything about any of this. So now you're just attributing fallacies to things that they haven't even said yet. What was that verse you put up about the man who speaks before hearing the answer is in his folly?
Intellectual failures right at the beginning, which is why I'm hoping that Andrew Wilson will actually agree to a genuine debate, because this is really just an echo chamber. It's not really very impressive at all.
He challenged Andrew to a debate on whatever about this topic. I don't see Andrew saying no. I mean, he debated Teriak about polygyny after this video was made. So if this never happened, this debate never happened, especially when Andrew's on Tim Pool calling this guy out by name. And then this guy makes a response and calls Andrew out. If this hasn't happened yet, it's got to be because of this guy, because I know Andrew's not going to be like, no, I'm not debating you, unless maybe they couldn't come to terms. Andrew is a real stickler for here's going to be the terms of the debate, and we're going to stick to the terms of the debate at this time, at this place. Everything needs to go according to plan, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like that. That's being professional. But I don't see Andrew, for any reason, backing down from this guy. I'm challenging this guy. But the thing is, if they get Andrew, he's going to stick to practical. We'll probably at some point review the Rob Kolowski debate. I think I've already reviewed it on the channel years ago, but now we're going back through this arc again. What was I just going to say? I totally lost my train of thought. Someone is running scared. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Andrew would back down from this. Oh, well, what I was saying is these guys it seems like they want somebody to get into the Bible with them. This guy, Rob, probably Glenn too. Like the way Glenn's claim is it's not a sin. God never says it's a sin. Now, if that's the prompt, yeah, God never explicitly says it's a sin. Okay. That doesn't mean it's not. Like God never says wire fraud is a sin. Or wiretapping or friggin' I don't know. Flying a drone over your neighbor's property is a sin or something, but I don't know. There's all sorts of examples we could think of things God doesn't explicitly say is a sin, but we all know it's wrong. And God never identity theft. There's a good one. But then they'll say, well, that's theft. And so I would say, okay, well, polygamy is sexual debauchery and adultery. Whatever. It's not that hard. Like there's not a specific name for every sin. It's lawlessness, right? So if I can give you examples where it's the law not to multiply wives to yourself, or where every guy who does is cursed for it, and it leads to problems and their downfall, then it would be lawlessness to go against that. But Andrew, if they debate Andrew, I keep forgetting to finish this thought. If they debate Andrew, he's going to come at them with logic and I already listened to the one with Rob, practical arguments. Practical, logical, realistic, look around the world, look at these studies, look at every country that does polygamy. They're all shithole countries. It doesn't benefit anybody in the world. All throughout history, we studied this. We know it has detrimental effects on everything. That's what, and then Andrew's going to come with the logic of how does this even make sense? Explain to me how this makes sense. If this, then this. And he does this in the Rob debate. If they want somebody who's going to Bible thump with them, I'm here for it, buddy. I'll Bible thump with you. And I'll also make practical arguments and logical arguments. But I'll Bible thump with you.
Let's continue on.
You about to get thumped over the head.
In fact, a lot of what's described, it's from Trent Horn, a lot of what's described in the Bible is stuff you're not supposed to be doing. It's a cautionary tale.
Or it's just descriptive.
Yeah, exactly. It's just descriptive.
Right.
So to me...
Okay, so he brought up the term descriptive. I've heard this argument.
Yes, it's describing something. If this happens, here's how you should handle it. It's not saying, do this, and then make it happen. It's not prescribing that men should marry multiple wives. It's saying if a man does somehow turn out to marry multiple wives, this is how we handle this. Polygamy, what's next? Cousin marriages? I know. Well, God never actually, in the debate with Rob, Andrew kept saying the Bible never tells you that you can't marry your first cousin. It does. It tells you you're not supposed to look upon not first cousin. It doesn't say first cousin specifically. But it says you're eventually, even though some of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, married their half-sisters, they didn't marry the first cousins, they married their half-sisters. Two of the patriarchs married their half-sisters. Now, it doesn't say anywhere in the Bible, don't marry your half-sister. But it does say later on, once all the law is revealed, it does say you're not supposed to be looking upon your family's nakedness, which means doing the dirty. You're not to go in unto them. But yeah, the Bible does tell you not to marry your family members, or not to sleep with your family members. But it doesn't say specifically first cousins. I think Andrew at some point in that debate used bestiality as an argument. He said, well, the Bible doesn't tell. What about bestiality? Can you do bestiality? God doesn't have. What sin is bestiality? What sin is that? But I think there are some verses about bestiality in the Bible. In fact, I'm positive there are. Just a couple. But all that proves is every example you try to think of something that the Bible has laws against, the Bible has laws against all sorts of things. Lots of laws in there. Bestiality is prohibited. Yep. So that's not a good example. But yeah, a better example is identity theft or something new, something new that they didn't have before, like tech fraud or I don't know. Stuff like that.
A whole lot. Descriptive, not prescriptive. There's a problem with that, though. Again, this is an argument from ignorance, not understanding the laws of God. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 5. This is the English Standard Version, and it says this. This is an example of a prescribed commandment that would result in polygyny. It says this: if brothers dwell together and one of them dies and has no son, the wife of the dead man shall not be married outside the family to a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her, take her as his wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her.
Okay. So by your logic, that means all brothers should dwell together.
There's so much in this verse to unpack. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but first and foremost, sex is marriage, okay? Genesis 2:24, there is no wedding. There is no certificate from a state. Adam and Eve did not have a wedding.
I agree with him on this. And what is the verse about cleave to your wife? For this reason, a man shall cling to his wife from Genesis.
They did not have a certificate from a state. They did not have an officiant, okay? None of that. What did they have? Intercourse, okay? They had intercourse with one another. All right, well, in Deuteronomy 25:5, this is levirate marriage. Intercourse is how the marriage begins. And you'll see this throughout the scriptures. I'm not really diving into that. I have other videos on my channel regarding sex as marriage. I also have a marriage law compendium, or like a worksheet, an amalgamation of a bunch of different scriptures on marriage. And you can go to the resources link on my website and you'll see marriage law worksheet. You can go read that. You can study out the sex.
How do the laws work about which night you sleep with which wife? How long do you have to wait before sleeping with the next wife? Can you have a threesome with your two wives? If I have 5 wives, can we have a massive JS-centered orgy every night? I mean, God doesn't tell you can't have an orgy with your multiple wives every night. David or whoever has the orgy on the rooftop, I guess that means orgies are on deck.
Sex is marriage, as well as lawful and unlawful unions. I talk about this at length in my video that I did with Rob Kowalski, titled on or the divinity of marriage.
Sex is not marriage. Well, the point he's making is like what we were just talking about, like once you're conceived, or once you not conceived, not conception, what's the word I'm looking for? When you smash on wedding night. Consummate the marriage. Man, you better stop talking shit. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. No, sex outside of marriage is fornication, but yeah, he's kind of making the Mormon spiritual ceiling. Like once you have sex with somebody, you're married to them. That means I'm married to a lot of people.
And I think that you guys will really be blessed by that. Okay, so back to Deuteronomy 25:5. If brothers dwell together and one of them dies and has no son, the wife of the dead man shall not be married outside the family to a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her.
Right. And the way he read the last verse is it was like an ought. He turned the if into an ought. So basically, the way he should read this is brothers should dwell together and one of them should die without a son. And the wife of the dead shall not be married, blah, 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 blah. That's the way he needs to read this, because that would make it analogous to his reading of the last verse.
And take her as his wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. This happened with Judah's son Onan. This was what was required of
Yeah, and the last verse happened to Jacob.
Onan in Genesis 38:8, I believe. And I don't have it right in front of me. And so Deuteronomy 25:5 is prescribed regardless of the marital status of the living brother. So whether he's got a wife or wives or not, he must.
No, but it's an if-then statement. The if is not the prescription. You're right. The last one did have a prescription if the descriptor that precedes the prescription is met. And if it's not met, then you don't do the prescriptor if the descriptor isn't met. The beginning of this, if brothers dwell together and one of them dies and has no son, that is a descriptor. That's saying it's describing a situation. If this happens, then the prescription, then this is what we do. This is the prescription. In the same way with the last verse, it starts with a descriptor. If a man has two wives, then the prescriptor. If a man has two wives, then this is what he should do. It is not prescribing you to have two wives, just like this is not prescribing you to live with your brother and die before he has a son, before you have a son. To the contrary, you might want to live with your wife and die after you have a son. Like what?
Marry his late brother's widow in order to raise up offspring for his brother. Why is this commanded in God's law? Well, because when the brother died without any offspring, the living brother, who is genetically very similar, is supposed to produce offspring with the widow.
Wait, re-exam. So you're disagreeing with the perpetual virginity of Mary? We would probably be on the same side with that one. Her husband, Joseph, did not know her. Okay, so you're saying in that case, they were married before they slept with each other. But that does imply that at some point there was some consummation going on. But just in case the brother gets to perform the duty, right?
Firstborn of that widow is actually the child of the late brother and receives all of his inheritance from the late brother. And then the widow, from that point forward, all of her children are the living husband's children. But that first child is legally the child of the late brother. And so it's...
Yeah, I've gone rounds with people a few times about perpetual virginity. I mean, if it's the case, if it's true, I don't have a problem with it. It just doesn't. It's just not what the scripture says. That verse that you put right there, he did not know her until she had given birth. That means that he did consummate the marriage after Jesus was born. And then it also says they go on to have a standard marriage or something like that, a normal marriage, implying there's nothing strange about the marriage. And it would be strange if one spouse in the marriage never had sex with her husband. And that's supposed to preserve her righteousness? That doesn't seem righteous to me. That seems like something you're not supposed to do as a wife. So why would, married before sex, it would be immoral outside of marriage. Yeah.
actually a commandment that is from compassion to ensure that the dead brother continues to have progeny and his bloodline doesn't end. This is a kindness from God to the man who died and to the widow. And then the brother, of course, he gets to have additional children through the widow as well after the firstborn. So regardless of how you feel about the law of God, the point is here that this is prescribed regardless of the marital status of the living brother. And this would result in polygyny any and every time the man is married and he has to marry his brother's widow. So if he's got one wife or more, he still has to marry.
This is such a cop-out answer. See, this is what I was saying, re-exam. So according to him, that woman, and this would not be polygyny. He just said the wrong word. This would be polyamory. But according to his logic, the woman that the Sadducees in their hypothetical to Jesus, in that hypothetical, that woman would be polyamorous because she had 7 husbands. And so a widow, if she remarries, she is now a polyamorous person because she's married to 2 men. I don't think so. And I think polygamy, poly, I think it implies you're having sex with them actively. Maybe not. Hold on. Does it just mean multiple wives? Practicing of marrying more than one spouse. Okay. So what's polyamory? Polyamory is just having sex with multiple people. Multiple sexual relationships is polyamory. That's okay. So what is it called when women do it? Because polygyny is just for men, right? Polygyny is where a man has multiple wives. What is it called when a woman has multiple husbands?
Marry his brother's widow, and so he would end up with 2 wives or 3 wives or what have you. And we're going to 2 Chronicles. And Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord all the days of Jehoiada the priest. Jehoiada got for him 2 wives, and he had sons and daughters. Now, this might look like it's not a big deal on the surface, but Jehoiada is the high priest of Israel acting on behalf of God's will, bringing Joash 2 wives simultaneously.
Is this saying that Jehoiada got the 2 wives for Joash? There's a period here. And Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord all the days of Jehoiada the priest. Period. Jehoiada got for him 2 wives, and he had sons and daughters. Is this saying Jehoiada had 2 wives, or Jehoiada got 2 wives for Joash? What is it? 2 Chronicles 24, 2 and 3. Oh. So this is what I was talking about in 1st and 2nd Chronicles, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Samuel. Almost every time. So he found one. He found one king who did right in the eyes of the Lord who had multiple wives. Every other time when it says they multiplied wives unto themselves, it always says they did evil in the eyes of the Lord. And most of the ones that did right in the eyes of the Lord, it doesn't mention them having multiple wives. He found one where it does mention that he had multiple wives, but it's 2. Polyandry, that's the word when women have multiple. Okay, that's the word I was looking for. Where is this? 2nd Chronicles. 24, 23. It also says David was a man after God's own heart. Does that mean murder is okay? Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. 24, 2 and 3. No, he's lying. And I have it highlighted. Look at this. Hold on. I want to make sure. Oh my gosh, this is so deceptive. He's reading from the English Standard Version. It is. Oh my gosh, this is so deceptive. Look at this. The period here is important. And the way that it's written is important too. You don't see it online, but if you get a Bible, look, I have it highlighted. And Joash did that which was right in the sight of the Lord all the days of Jehoiada the priest. And Jehoiada took for him 2 wives, and he begat sons and daughters. Why is there a break there? And then there's this symbol. So in 4, you see this little symbol next to the 4? That means it's like a break. It's a new paragraph. So you don't look at what's in verse 4 as a continuation of verse 3. There's a break here. Verse 4 is a new stanza, basically. So you read verse 2 and 3, and there's the break there. And Jehoiada took for him 2 wives, and he begat sons and daughters. Yeah, why would the high priest take wives for Joash? Jehoiada took 2 wives for himself. And then the king called for Jehoiada the chief and said unto him, Why hast thou not required the Levites to bring out of Judah and out of Jerusalem the collection according to the commandment of Moses, the servant of the Lord, and of the congregation of Israel for the tabernacle of witness? And the sons Athaliah, the wicked woman, for the sons of Athaliah, the wicked woman, had broken up the house of God. And also, Jehoiada was a real jerk. Joash, who did right in the eyes of the Lord, didn't have multiple wives. Jehoiada had multiple wives, and he was a real jerk. So deceptive. ESV is not the worst. ESV is not bad. But NIV is, well, there's some way worse ones. There's the women's translation, the feminist translation, the Thomas Edison Bible. It's so crazy he brings this up because when I was reading through all this, I was paying real close attention to whatever king it said did right in the eyes of the Lord and whatever king did evil in the sight of the Lord. And every time it mentions one that does evil in the sights of the Lord, it talks about their multiple wives. It always say, and he multiplied wives unto himself, and he did what was evil in the eyes of the Lord. And he found one where he could twist it and make it look like the guy who did right in the eyes of the Lord had multiple wives. What a little snaky snakerson. Snaky McSnakerson. I see you. What's the feminist translation called? The Message is bad. Yeah, ESV is good. NIV is weak. I mean, NIV has some mistakes in it, but if you're a casual reader, you're not going to like notice it. But the problem with NIV is they've changed some things in it that atheists will use against Christians, like changing the phrase "take hold of" to rape. If a man should take hold of his wife, or if a man shall take hold of the woman in the field, and then he should marry her. Meaning, if he takes her virginity and sleeps with her, he needs to marry her. If you're going to sleep with somebody, you should be willing to marry them. But then they change it to if he rapes the slave. they changed up words. What's the feminist translation called? I don't know. I've just heard about it. This guy is a real sneaky McSneakerson.
Simultaneously so that he can have sons and daughters. And this brings in
Oh, I'm so happy he's going to Chronicles and Samuel and Kings. This is where I would go. So I wonder how he's gonna. Well, we just debunked that one. I can't wait to see which next, because you don't want to be playing around with this mess in 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles. I don't know how you can, if you've really read through all those, I don't know how you can get this polygyny idea as a good thing. It's very explicit that it never works out good for any of the guys that do it. But he's going to 2nd Samuel next.
in a divine statement, and Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. So as long as Jehoiada was alive, the things Joash was doing were right. The things Jehoiada was doing were right. Jehoiada is actually regarded as one of the better high prophets, high priests in the biblical narrative. And Joash was a good king up until Jehoiada had died. So at this point in time, he is doing what's right in the eyes of the Lord all the days of Jehoiada. Jehoiada, the high priest, acting on behalf of God, he's in a divine office, brings him 2 wives. This is prescribed, okay? Joash didn't make this decision. God told Jehoiada to bring him 2 wives. And if you understand the divinity of marriage, which is witnessed, for example, in Jesus's teaching in Matthew chapter 19, verse 6, then you understand that God brought these wives to Joash. Why? Because Jesus said, so they are no longer 2, but 1 flesh. What God has joined together, let no man separate. Okay, so that's 2 prescribed scenarios of polygyny. This one is perhaps arguably the most obvious divine prescription of polygyny in Scripture.
Okay.
And it's God
Hold on. Maybe Jehoiada wasn't a real jerk, but hold on a second. I see how he could read it this way. But when you look at it, this one, I'm still looking at the Jehoiada and Joash one. Hold on. I can't read through all this right now. The covenant with him. Okay, I have to go through all this stuff again, and I can't read all this to you because it's 6 books. So I'm not going to give him the last one. Let's see what he's got from 2 Samuel.
declaring to David that he gave him multiple.
Nathan said to David, "You are the man. You're the man, David." Oh, this is where they say God gave David the multiple wives.
Wives, and he did so, and he could have given him more if he wanted to. And then he tells David, why did you take
Okay, this might be his best firepower right here. So what say you to this re-exam?
Uriah's wife when you already had all these wives that I had given you? So 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 7 through 8. Nathan said to David, you are the man. Thus says the Lord, the God of...
Hold on, let me go to mine just to check this. Why would you not? Was it 2 Samuel 12, 7 and 8? Twelve, 7 and 8. I already have it highlighted. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Thou art the man. That's so much better than you are the man. Nathan said to David, you are the man. This is so much better. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom. Master's wives into thy bosom. Like Abraham's bosom, meaning they were dead? No. And gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Interesting where he chose to stop. Interesting how he chose to stop right before God said, you're going to be cursed, or you're going to have problems. The sword will never depart from you.
Of Israel, I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you out of the hand of Saul, and I gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your arms, and gave you the house of Israel and of Judah. And if this were too little, I would add to you as much more. What did God just say here? This is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our creator, our savior. He says, and I gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your arms. Now, to clarify, this word arms here in Hebrew is translated more accurately as bosom. It's an intimate word. In fact, in this exact same chapter, in 2 Samuel chapter 12, it states that Uriah had Bathsheba, his little sheep, in his bosom. Okay, it's an affectionate and, in fact, sexual term. And God is stating, I gave your master's wives into your bosom. I put them in your bed, and they became your wives, and you were able to have children with them. And he's saying, why did you take another man's wife when I gave you all of these wives? So this is divine providence. This is an example of the divinity of marriage, and that God is the one who caused these polygynous unions. That's 3 prescriptions of polygyny, and I'm just getting started. Go to Matthew chapter 19, verse 6. So they are no longer 2, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man separate. We just saw God explicitly stated, I gave these wives to you. We also saw Jehoiada acting on behalf of God, doing what was right in God's sight, gave multiple wives to Joash. So we know that it's God making these joinings, these unions, these marriages himself. This is what you must understand, is that all marriage, starting with Eve, is by divine providence. Genesis 2:22, he brought her to the man. Well,
hold on, I got to write these down. Okay, the Joash one is not a problem. This David one, He sent Jesus to die for us. What is you talking about? Let me up. This is noob stuff. Let me up. Oh, my bad. I didn't know you were in there. Hello.
Hey, so
What was that
Oh,
Samuel one? I gotta rewind a little bit.
24 or no?
That's
Go another one.
Well, and it's funny because he skips, because Samuel, Kings, and Chronicles, it goes through. It's like the lineages. It's one of the longest like drags to read through because it's just king after king after king after the whole lineage of Judah and Israel. He picks these ones because these are maybe some rare examples where the person has multiple wives and it's like not a huge problem. But almost every time throughout there, when it says, it'll say that they had they multiplied wives unto themselves and they did evil in the eyes of the Lord.
Yeah, I don't know this guy's opinion on slavery either, but I would also argue that slavery is wrong. Slavery is a sin, even though it was tolerated and regulated in Old Testament civil law. You don't see a spirit of, enslavement in the New Testament. When and you actually see a lot of good arguments within the Old Testament of why that point away from slavery as an institution. It was just something that was tolerated because to have like instant manumission everywhere would have been such a chaos economically and socially. It would have led to more slavery eventually anyway. So, but Marilyn
I
brought
know
up a
this
good
makes
point.
me not like my take on slavery anymore because I'm gonna sound like this guy.
Well, you probably will. But did you see my debate on slavery?
No.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can give you in a nutshell. Ephesians 6:9 says that you are not to threaten your slave. So, but if you're not allowed to threaten your slave, then there's no coercion in your slavery. So, what is slavery without coercion? My opponent had no answer for this, by the way. There is no slavery without coercion. And then if you go to 1 Corinthians 7:21, it says that slaves are allowed to go if it's possible for them. In fact, it seems encouraging for them in most cases to go, unless it will be more economically advantageous otherwise. But it says prefer freedom rather than slavery if you can get out. And then the only limiting principle, we wrote Romans 13, which is why you shouldn't have slave revolts, because slavery was regulated by the government. Then you shouldn't be a runaway. You shouldn't be somebody who's breaking the law in order to achieve those sorts of things. But there are legal, lawful means by which you can let your slave go, or you can, as a slave, find ways to get yourself out of slavery. But that would be, yeah. And there are things in the Old Testament that are otherwise against that too. But Gavin Ortland has good videos on the slavery part. Now, as far as the God gave you your wives plural thing, that has nothing to do with the fact or some idea that therefore it is morally permissible, or that just because God gives you something that therefore it is a good thing in and of itself. So, for example, if God gives you slaves, that doesn't mean that slavery becomes good. It just means that this is the state of what being a king in the ancient Near East entails, and unfortunately for many, it entailed also multiple wives.
When he says, I gave you the king and his wives, I don't see it as, I see God gave your enemy into your hand to defeat, and then you defeated your enemy, and you have his kingdom and his wives. But that doesn't mean that David had to marry all those wives.
Yeah, he could. He could have refused, but he didn't, and we know that he, in of himself, even if that were allowed, it's not like David wasn't a guy who wasn't given to lust. We know that already from Bathsheba.
Yeah.
So, and same thing with Solomon. He had the same issue.
Same thing with Samson. Same thing with, Adam. Kind of. He fell to the woman, maybe not for lust, but
no, for lust. But just because, again, you look at when the Israelites were out in the wilderness and they asked for meat, and God gave them meat, and He said, "I'll have you eating so much quail you'll be coming out your nostrils."
Great
but
point.
that was a judgment. Just because God gives you something that you asked for doesn't mean that you're in a good state. It doesn't mean you deserve it. Doesn't mean it's right. Another example is Psalm 73, where it talks about the righteous and the wicked, and the wicked are described as people who are fat, people who are rich, people who are doing really well in life, and then the righteous have it so hard. But in the end, it's those who are wicked and indulgent that go to hell, that die. They perish from this earth and they perish from life altogether, and it comes suddenly. So, yeah, bare providence alone, what God gives you, does not therefore approve the thing itself.
What did you say?
I
Providence is not what? Provision?
Providence is not permission.
Providence is not permission. I like that.
Like, God actually sets everything in motion. I mean, the way a man plans his own way, but the Lord guides his steps. The heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, like a river of water. He directs it wherever he wills. But God hardened Pharaoh's heart. Does that mean that God likes hard hearts? I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, there are so many. Look, God, I believe, and I have good reason to believe that God is in control of everything. I'm a compatibilist. In fact, I'm having a debate with a Molinist this next Wednesday on Abe Dinkus' channel. If all goes according to plan. But I believe that God does direct and predestine things to happen, not altogether. And so, like, everything comes down to God's providence. There is no power outside the universe or inside the universe that makes things happen independently of God's plan and his, not just his awareness, but his plan altogether. I mean, you look at Judas. Jesus doesn't say it'd be better if he never sinned or if he never betrayed me. Jesus says it'd be better if he'd never been born. Now, does that mean because God had a plan of salvation that therefore Judas's betrayal was justified? That now because it comes to us from greater end? Well, obviously not. I mean, look at Romans. Is it Romans 3, or Romans 6 at least? No, I think it's Romans 2 or 3, where it talks about, shall we say then, let's do evil so that good may come. It's like, their condemnation is just. I think it's Romans 2. So, I mean, yeah, providence is not permission, and also take that into account that the Old Testament standard, they had less light. They did not have the new birth as we do now in the New Covenant, in the New Testament. So the law interacts with us differently now in the New Covenant. Now we are priests. Now we don't need priests. We are the priests. Now we don't need a temple. Our body is a temple for the Holy Spirit. Now, instead of being unclean for eating pork, we sanctify things by making things clean ourselves, and so we can eat pork now as Christians because the Holy Spirit sanctifies our actions in those ways that are actually meaningful.
Yeah.
So that's how Jesus can say that the law is not abolished, because the law is in effect, but it has a different relationship to us. Now the law, instead of something external to us that we apply outwardly, it's in our hearts and it comes out of us now in our lives and actions.
He brought up Romans 4:15, I think, before you joined, and we were talking about that, and I read the whole chapter, and it's a tough chapter, but Romans 4:15, for the law brings wrath, but where there is no law, there is no transgression. So he's saying if there's no law that says that you can't do polygamy, then you can. But when you read that whole chapter, it's talking about how Abraham, was he while he's circumcised or uncircumcised. It wasn't about the law. It was about his faith in God. And then so this is like just a cherry picked verse that he used.
Yeah, it's taken out of context, but he's using law in particular, where there is no law. Like, there's no particular law naming the thing that I am in favor of. That's not what it's talking about. It's talking about the law in general, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
You know,
It seemed more
so
broad. It was a
it is more
broad thing
broad.
about faith versus works.
Paul's point is not like an argument from silence in Romans 4. That's a ridiculous position. It's like, hey, you can do it if nobody's like. Why would Paul go out of his way to say something like that? That's not what the book of Romans was about at all. It's about understanding Abraham's place, especially with Romans 4.
I know.
But
and what's God
anyway.
gonna give Moses, like all the future stuff that's gonna happen, like everything that's gonna happen? Like Leviticus would be humongous if it was every law ever written. Like in Arkansas, you're not allowed to, or in England, you're not allowed to drive on the right side of the road.
Right.
Like that's the law. But as long as it's, I don't know.
Obviously, it's talking about whatever was passed down by God. But
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The law can be, the law is a very, a lot of people have studied it trying to figure out how the change occurred from Old to New Testament. And, Chris Iverson, actually, I plugged him earlier, but he is somebody I know. And then we talk back and forth about how to understand the, how the law interacts, how we interact with the law in the Old Testament versus how we interact with the law in the New Testament. And I think it has to do with a change in our nature, which changes the way in which we interact with the law. The law is obviously satisfied in Christ, but it's also not done away with. And because it's not done away with per se, the satisfaction of things that are less substantial, like circumcision or what we eat or the clothes we wear, those things are not, one thing or another on the spiritual level. But the moral law is what we are interacting with, because all the spiritual things are still in effect per se, but they are in effect and satisfied in Christ, and because we have the Holy Spirit, we interact with them in our new nature, and that's why we can say, not one jot, not one. How do you put that? Not one tittle or jot of the law has gone away.
Jot or tittle, yeah.
Right. Not one of those has gone away, and so it's not that has gone away. It's still in effect, but it is currently in effect and satisfied at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, this logic is crazy. So
It's self-serving logic. We all know it.
Wait.
It's a prima facie self-serving logic, just based on your flesh. I mean,
yeah.
oh, okay. Just even look. Just take for 1 second. You're a woman. You find a good man. You get married. And you're in the grocery store. You can't even go to Meijer and pick up some cantaloupe without your man just talking to other women. Do you think that maybe there's some kind of natural feeling of disgust and anger and hurt and pain and betrayal? And you think that that was God's plan? You think that that's like irrational and unreasonable? You think that's like selfish? Is she sinning to be angry that her man is talking to other women? You really that's so against common sense.
Yeah, and it's such a crazy, so David and Bathsheba have their affair, and God kills the child that they have. The first child, when they make a child, God kills the child.
Yep.
And it's it's like, I guess, a punishment for what David did. It was a curse.
Yep.
But by that, with this guy's logic, it's like, if I cheat on a girl and she gets pregnant, we should kill the kid. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think you probably have enough arguments. I think if you have 14 arguments against this guy, or however many you need, that just
right
cut
now,
the fundamentals of his claim. You probably don't need a lot of arguments that stretch about what you should do versus what God's allowed to do and all that kind of stuff, because that could get messy.
Yeah, I'm stretching it, but I'm just on the biblical stuff right now. I haven't even got into the practical repercussions of this and the logical
just
stuff.
stick to the biblical stuff is going to be more powerful because he's trying to use the Bible to justify his sin. Right. So if you're like, the Bible's, I'm in the Bible's corner, you're not in the Bible's corner, and you can show that his application is completely inconsistent with the theme of Scripture, then that's.
And that could have been, that could actually be why maybe Andrew didn't take the debate, because when he did this debate with Rob Kolowski, the way it was worded was, Christian polygamy can save the modern West, or something like that. And so whenever Rob Kolowski kept trying to go biblical with it, and he said, I want to talk about the Bible. And Andrew said, I'm not going to debate with you about the Bible. This is about how Christian polygamy can save the West. And so Andrew stuck to
this is a big ass bitch.
Shut up. Hold on. I'm going to lose my train of thought. He said,
you're losing your train of thought.
Oh my gosh. He stuck to the logic.
Kolowski.
Yeah, he stuck to the logic and the pragmatic arguments.
Oh shit, he's going to lose it.
Avarice, shut up for real.
Bottom line is Andrew can't do it without approval from his priest, and it probably takes a lot of study and some kind of ordination to
Right.
be even able to.
And
as
Andrew's
an
not a
Orthodox,
Bible.
You don't
teacher
know
like
what
that.
you guys don't know what kind of authority he has.
So these guys, when they want to do a sola scriptura
I didn't know Andrew was
style
a patriarch. Now
Bible
that happened
debate,
overnight.
Maybe that's why it never happened, because Andrew was probably like, well, I don't want to have a Bible thumping debate with you. And that's what this guy wants.
Yeah.
But
Right.
what does he just do? Response videos and go through these same verses in every video?
Probably.
Huh. What's he?
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm not even
What's
aware
up,
of him being in
Suburban
any debate.
Adventure?
What's up? You're messing up my stream, Avarice.
That was the whole idea.
It's getting late. I am kind of getting
Cause I came in like a wrecking ball.
I don't want to be up too
I've
late
never
today.
hit so hard before.
Oh my god, he's annoying.
Cause Maryland is a vibe.
This is not Bible study. We just happen to be studying the Bible. This is debunking time.
Cause Maryland is a viper and a super harlot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Stop. The link was for Rev only. What the hell is wrong with you? Discord is later. You dumb.
I didn't even do that.
Did you
I
just
didn't even
boot
do
her?
that. That was funny. That
Wait,
was
it was
funny.
for Rev only. Since
no,
I
No, it's
No.
not Bible study today.
no, it's
I haven't actually seen Rev in a little bit.
Yeah, it's not Bible study. She's just being a retarded bitch,
okay.
like normal.
But yeah, I think I would like to get a debate with this guy.
I'm so glad I didn't marry someone as stupid as her.
Has Rich ever debated anybody? I haven't even
I
found
don't-
one yet.
I don't know. He
Maybe he just
titles
likes
his
the-
videos "Debate with Ben Shapiro," and
It's a lie, like the rest of his life and his ministry. So called.
it's a clickbait with Ben Shapiro.
Pretty much.
He's just reacting
A
to their
debate with
videos.
Yeah, he's be like a debate with the president of these United States, and he just plays clips of himself responding to the Biden debate against Trump.
Yeah. Crazy. Avarice, this DebateCon video is gonna be sick, but it's gonna take me like 3 years to edit it.
3 years. Do you want to send me your footage so I can do our Crucible stuff and I'll send you ours?
I have 2 hours of recorded footage. I have an hour of drone footage.
I have 4,000 pictures over everyone's camera footage and 30-second B-roll footage. I don't know what you're talking about here. I gather everything. You know this. You notice that you're no longer in the Crucible event Discord, so now
Why?
you no longer have access to that.
Why?
Well, because everybody gets nuked at the end.
Why do you do that?
It's for orders.
Well, I already saved everything that I need.
So
Following
I'm
orders.
just saying. So I also have all the MDD B-roll footage. So I'm willing to exchange footage with you, but you're not wanting to do that. You're like, I have 2
I
hours.
can, I
Like,
just don't know
I'm
how.
not
what do
like
you want
I'm
me to
not
send you?
equating the same amount of fucking data.
What do you want me to send you?
Dropbox. I'll even make a Dropbox. I'll make a Dropbox tonight. All you have to do is say, yeah, let's change data, and I'll make a fucking Dropbox, you idiot.
Can I do that on my phone?
Oh, I hate you so much. Yes.
What do you need? You want all my footage?
I want all of it, yeah. From DebateCon.
But I'm making a video.
I got it, but mine's gonna be different than yours, you stupid fuck.
Fine, but you gotta help promote my video when it comes out.
Do I? I hate you so much. If you ever think I don't promote you, I'm gonna fucking kick you in the dick again. You say that one more time, I'm gonna fly to Utah, and there's not even gonna be a wrestling match. I'm gonna go get a metal baseball bat and hit you right in the dick.
Damn.
I'm not even joking. If you don't think I ever don't promote you, my
I'm just
good
making
friend.
sure. I'm just making sure.
What the hell are you talking about? Even I get robbed to raise your ass when you're on. You dick.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you asked Jake Barr to do a show. You never asked me to do a show.
because your energy wouldn't be good for that show like me and his. What makes you think I don't have anything planned for you? What makes you think I don't have anything planned for you?
I'm just kidding. I'm all right.
What makes you think that?
I don't know.
What makes you think that?
I don't know.
What makes you think I don't have you planned in some kind of like game stream I have coming up?
Well,
What makes you think he's not going to help you infiltrate the Mankind Project because you signed up for it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. This guy's a
Like
flat
Nick
earther.
Shirley.
Oh my God, he's a flat earther too. Oh my God, I gotta debate.
Shocker.
This dude. I gotta
Shocker.
debate this dude.
Who's a flat earther?
This Rich
Rich
Tidwell,
Tidwell.
guy.
Oh, I look at it's easy to beat him. All you have to do is say that he's thinking too small. It's a big ball of ice.
I'm not gonna debate him about
So basically,
flat Earth.
ice maxed him, flat maxed him, and
Yeah,
ice
if you
maxed
not
him.
seen it, here I'll send you the meme. Hold on, it's an instant kill shot for flat earthers. Hold on.
Wait, so is he actually a preacher, or does he just stand and preach on YouTube?
He's got he's a wannabe cult leader, basically, as far as I'm concerned.
That's what it looks like.
He has at least two. One might be his actual wife, and then at least one other concubine that he calls his wife. And then he's got this quote unquote house church going on where he just spews bullcrap all day long, makes videos, and gets a bunch of freaks to subscribe to him.
Wow. Wow. Huh.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And I didn't even
Wow.
really know this guy's name, but Easy was saying he was trying to get something set up with him, and he said Rich Tidwell, and I was like, I haven't heard of him, but I've heard of Rob Kolowski. And then I looked, this guy's channel is twice as big as the Rob guys, but it's the same stuff. Huh.
Yeah, I wouldn't go exactly the practical route though, because like in the Christian life in and of itself is harder than the non-Christian life. And so it depends on what your goal is with practicality. If you mean by practical, like the easy life and you get to do whatever you want.
No, you're
and make
saying
whatever
you say
deals
the
you want.
results of polygamy are detrimental on every culture that tries it.
True.
Like every
yeah,
study says it's bad. It's bad for the economy. It's bad for family. Everything.
Yeah, I'm most in favor of moral arguments, undercutting even like getting to the starting gate for polygamy. Even if you want to talk about what happens after the fact, they'd be like, here's why you shouldn't begin. And this, even in the abstract, before anything tangibly bad happens, is still bad and unjustified and should be stopped.
Yeah, like even if it did have beneficial outcomes, it still would be wrong.
Yeah, and we would say ultimately, all
But it
sin
doesn't
has
have beneficial outcomes.
Right. We live in a universe made by a good God. Therefore, all bad things have detrimental outcomes at some point, even if it's not seen in the first 5 minutes of you committing the sin.
Yeah. Even if it feels really good.
Right. I remember one time George Carlin, it might have been from the act that got pulled after 9/11 because he had a bit in that act that said, I kind of like it when a lot of people die. So that particular special was held back for many, many years. But one of the things he said in one of his bits is, oh, well, let's say, you're against homosexuality. And then, well, what if you're with somebody and the lights are out and you get a little frisky? Well, didn't it feel good? And it's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? What if that was a kid? What if you turn the lights on, it was a kid? Does that feel good now?
Yeah. As I was saying before, I think you got here. And I know this isn't a great example because the Bible does tell us to be of sober mind, but like God doesn't explicitly say don't do heroin, but it feels really good to do heroin when you do it. And so
I would use 1 Corinthians 6 that drunkards will not inherit the kingdom of heaven, among others. But drunkards are set beside idolaters and adulterers and homosexuals as those who will not inherit the kingdom of heaven. So if you get inebriated in any sense,
I know that's why it's a bad, but it doesn't exactly say heroin. It doesn't specifically say that.
Yeah, that's just an argument from silence, though. The principle still exists.
That's the argument he's making.
How
Is-
so?
Since
Oh,
God
the
doesn't
argument from silence.
yeah, since God doesn't never explicitly says, or maybe not him, but other people like Glenn Lawrence wants to do this debate, and his argument is God never explicitly says that it's a sin.
Why would you take a debate against that fucking idiot?
I'll
Which
debate.
one?
I'll debate whoever, and why would I not debate people that we got beef with? And I say
What?
we got beef.
Yeah, I'm done with them. I don't know if you've noticed. I've given up on fucking trying to be any kind of cordial
I know.
now.
I saw Cool
I'm
Vic was
fucking done.
covering you and Jake going off on Glenn. That was crazy.
I'm fucking done. It's over. These people have used it. They manipulate. Look at we make mistakes as people. I'm not even gonna give that mistake. Like, look at even we like could say, hey, we made a mistake and like we got drunk and we had too much fun and we didn't fucking have a wrestling match, but we'll make up for that shit, right? And we will. Right? That's not even besides the fact we admit these things. At least we admit these things.
I don't think either of us were scared. It's just we didn't have to fucking time. We were so busy.
We didn't have the time. That's what. Hold on. I'm getting there. But we're not sitting here creating a story like, oh yeah, he just bitched out and ran away. Like we're fucking making fun of each other and shit. But we're not like actually coming up with a story to why this person is bitching out or can't show up or really trying to attack each other or any of this shit. It's fucking horseshit. And the fact of the matter is that we're not creating these stories like going behind each other's backs or telling each other how bad fucking JS is or all this other fucking bullshit. And it's getting fucking old. It's getting old. It's getting fucking tiring. I'm done with it.
Yep. Yeah.
Start forgiving people. Let's start fucking making the bridges again. That's what Andrew fucking says for us to fucking do. And they're not doing it. So fuck them.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna. I don't even want to talk on the internet about the few times when we got a little too faded. Some, if anybody got a little too faded, I wouldn't even want to talk about what happened.
Oh no. We're not talking about any of that. I was talking about specifically like I'm not talking about what happened at DebateCon, except for you looking like you passed out on a table, even though you were just sleeping on the floor.
That's just funny.
Gaslighting snake. Nothing about you or Andrew.
Sure. What snaky thing am I doing? Go ahead. What snaky thing am I doing, bitch? Go ahead. I'll wait.
You're not trying to be. You're not nice. You're not trying to be.
He's very nice. You don't know him, Marilyn. You don't know him. That's my homie.
Oh my God! Not what his mouth says. What comes out of his mouth is not what he's saying.
Avarice, Easy, Freddie, and Teriak are now my three best internet buds.
Oh my God!
Name something that comes out of my mouth that I don't follow through with. Oh wait.
You just said we all need to get along, yet you are an asshole. Does that make sense?
But you came in sideways with him.
I'm gonna call you out. Yeah, I'm gonna defend myself.
Right. Like you didn't call me all sorts of names before.
I always do.
You've been live.
I always do. And hold on. And since I've created the build a bridge rhetoric, have I not sent you some funny ass and dank ass memes?
Yes, and I appreciate
so
that.
Am I not slowly building a bridge, even though sometimes you're being a whore?
I'm not being a whore. When you say I'm being a whore.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate that, Avarice. Why don't you try to be that Avarice more often?
I do.
Speaking out of both sides of your mouth. And what really triggers me the most is not necessarily you when you do trigger me, but Andrew. This whole thing about him just being a deceiving snake on the internet to try
He's not deceiving.
To who?
He's not deceiving.
Stir up shit. To try to stir up shit, and he has no place in the matter. He don't know them people. He is not in the nuance of any of that. He has no answers. No people want answers from Andrew.
This is about the Charlie Kirk stuff.
Yes.
Wait. Hold up, though. But Andrew's trying to defend Charlie Kirk from the conspiracy theorist. I thought, right?
Trying to no. Charlie would have been on Candace's side to figure out what the hell happened. They covered that up so fast. There were so many holes in the story. And then
Okay, I see what's going on.
no,
All
no.
right.
Israel did this. I don't care. I don't care. You were all shills for the Jews. And
No.
you need to be
Here we
ashamed
go.
of
I
yourself.
didn't say anything.
and
I gave you a
everything you
chance. This
stand
is
for.
I've
okay.
been following
So
every part
Charlie,
of the trial,
It's
every
the
court
perfect
appearance,
example.
every piece of
honeypot.
evidence as it leaked, and there's no.
She always has been a honeypot.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Y'all
so
are
if Charlie came back
stretching.
from the dead, she'd be like, "Yeah, Candace, get my wife, attack her."
He would be like, put that bitch under the jail.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is
You're
why.
crazy.
This is why.
This is why you're
This
a
is
normie.
why-
You're an NPC. You don't do your research. You don't look at both sides. You just, oh, this side said that they were right. Well, let's believe them. And because they're trustworthy and not look into it. Not why would they lie to us? Why would they lie to us?
I have a baseline for normal, and this is clearly wacky. This is just clearly wacky.
It's
That's
not
so convoluted.
wacky if you can read body language. If you
Okay,
can see more than what they're
so,
saying.
so is the theory that she killed her husband so she'd make less money with TPUSA after he was gone? Is that the theory?
She was a honeypot. Do you know what that means? She was a shill
Is she
for
going to make less
Israel.
money
She
or
went
not?
She
Is she
went
going to make
Israel-
less money
You
or
can-
not?
slow.
You can make all those
Israel
claims, but that's not the
sent
same as
her
saying she got
to
him
take
killed.
him
Is
out.
she also a reptilian?
No, I don't believe in that any of that shit.
No, you just
Why
believe
not?
in.
You believe that you're
dolphins.
God.
You just believe in
I don't live
dolphins
in
that
fantasy
kidnap architects so they can build underwater.
Listen, that was a funny video because they were so serious about that. And I had a history teacher in 11th grade who was insane. And she really believed dolphins used to walk on land. And she says they have lungs like humans. No other animal has in the water. Animals in the water have lungs like humans and all sorts of shit. She was like, they're so intelligent. Da, 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 da. Some like when people broke apart.
All the
some
mammals
people,
in the ocean have lungs, but they breathe through
some people
blowholes.
went.
We don't breathe through blowholes.
Yeah, but not like dolphins. Dolphins are different.
Dolphins
I
breathe
don't
through
remember what she
blowholes.
said. I don't remember what she said and why, but I'll have to look into it. I really don't care.
You
but
breathe.
she
You
said
might
when
breathe
people
through a blowhole,
separated,
but
when Pangea happened and all the continents separated, some people went into the water and some people stayed on land. And she thinks that dolphins are ancestors of humans. So that I thought that shit was funny as shit.
okay.
A lot of people believe that.
Well, a lot of people think the Earth is flat. You do.
No, I don't. I believe it's a hologram. Remember, I said Jesus fed
that's better.
5,000 with
Hologram.
2 fish and 5 loaves of barley bread.
So I'm standing on a
That's
hologram?
we are manifesting everything around us. Yes. If we weren't looking at this shit, it would not be real.
That's
like if a
not what
tree
a
falls in
hologram
the
is.
woods, did it really fall?
So what are we looking at before we hologrammed it?
I don't believe in creation or evolution. That's a psyop. We always were and we always will be. We're God.
You said we're looking at it because we're projecting it, but we wouldn't be looking at it if we're projecting it. So what came first, the projection or the looking at the thing?
It has always been.
Have you ever heard the Kalam cosmological argument for why there had to be a beginning of us in the universe?
Well, let's hear this nonsensical nonsense.
Every current event is contingent on the previous event. So if you look at these events like dominoes falling in a sequence, the current event that is happening right this moment is the last domino in the line falling. So in order for this domino to fall, the other event that happened a second ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, however you want to measure these events, it could be a year, it could be a day, whatever. To get to today, the previous domino had to fall. If you had an infinite chain of dominoes spread out before you and you're standing at the last domino, how long would it take from the time the first domino gets pushed till the time that infinite chain reaches the last domino?
Infinite has meaning.
I know.
JS.
If there were infinite, there would be no beginning. So you would never be able to. So you're necessary. You need a necessary first cause. If you don't have that necessary first cause, you have infinite causes before this cause. We could never have reached this current moment.
Like I said, infinite and eternity, they have meaning. They don't just start somewhere and go on. You don't just stop in the middle of a scene and start
No,
and say
physical
this is the
infinites don't
beginning.
exist.
I am
Marilyn,
telling you, there was no beginning. We are
hey, Marilyn,
God, and there's no
question for
beginning
you.
to God,
I know,
and
but
there's
I
no
just made an
end to
argument
God,
for
and
why
we
there has
are
to
the
be a
image
beginning.
of God.
Marilyn, question for you.
Oh
Let's
my
say
God!
let's say
high
let's
on
say for
track
let's say for every
me.
one time Saturn turns around the Earth, goes around the Earth, Jupiter goes around the the sun.
Space is great.
Let's say Saturn goes around the sun one time, and for every one time Saturn does, Jupiter goes 2 times. Does that mean that they've both gone equal amount of times? If we have a physically infinite universe?
Space is fake. Space is not even real.
Oh wow, what an escape hatch.
Okay,
Not.
what is it then? What is it? What is it? What is it? I want to know what it is. What is it? What
It's a
is it?
hologram.
Of what?
All right, Marilyn is.
Wait, no.
psyops
I
for-
want to know
thank
what
you,
it's a
Kokomo.
hologram of. What's it a hologram of?
We are
Fake is
all
real
part
and
of
real
the
is
one
fake.
body of God.
She's being
Is it a
retarded.
Is it a
We are-
hologram of the
we
inside
are
of your
the
vagina since it's so
internal and
massive?
external projections of what
Is it a hologram of the inside of your vagina since it's so massive?
Wouldn't you like to know how big my
was just
vagina
wondering if
is,
that's
or
what
how
space
small
was.
it is?
Is that
All
what
y'all can
space
think
is?
about is my fucking
Is
tube.
space the inside of your vagina?
Wouldn't you like to know, Avarice? Wouldn't you
Well,
like
no,
to know?
I don't want to know. I'm asking you because I think space is something completely
These
different.
are
I'm just
thoughts
asking.
in your
I'm asking.
head.
No, not thoughts in my head. I'm just wondering where you're getting these thoughts because the only thing I can think of is you looked inside your
Listen,
vagina.
Avarice, if you can name every single star in the sky, then you can talk
I
to me
can.
about some shit.
I can
As
name
far
every
as I'm
single
Every star in
concerned,
the sky is
science
I can
even
name
named.
every.
for
I
poor
can name
people.
every. I can name every star in the sky.
You cannot.
I can. Yes.
The
You
stars.
cannot go
Swords of
outside and
reason.
say,
Let's do
okay,
it.
here's
Can
the
Avarice
location
name
of this,
every
this,
single
this,
sword
this.
in the sky?
Yeah.
Star in
I
the
can
sky.
name every
Let's
star in the
go.
sky. Would you like me to? Would you like me to start?
Yeah, go
There's
for it. And
Mike,
tell me exactly where they
Timmy,
are.
John,
Louis,
JoJo, Little B,
Chris,
Big B,
That's enough.
Dipper,
That's
Small
enough.
Dipper,
A1,
JJ,
A2, A3,
Tyrone,
I-
Light Light,
CD.
Big
I
Light,
hate it.
Little Light, Northern Light,
Yeah,
Smaller Light,
We'll start making
Big
noises
handle light.
eventually.
Beep Beeps,
Bloop, bloops.
Mr. Jeeps. I got Boop Light. I got the blue light, green light.
There's one named Avarice.
Yeah, I got the Avarice star. You want me to continue? I can name them all. I can name, dude. God told me to shepherd and name these things. I'll go all day long, baby, all day long.
Hey, okay, enough of Marilyn derailing off this, but
Please.
back to the drama. Listen, I'm a little worried, okay, and I know everybody's like Easy's, all the Bears and all of Easy's crew's like, yeah, you're gonna whoop Glenn's ass and all this other stuff. I have faith in my boy, but there are weight classes and PED tests for a reason in the martial arts and combat sports world. If somebody's that big, that much bigger than you and roided out, you could get killed. So I'm just but I mean, I don't know. I wish Easy had in a month. He needs at least a damn 6-month training camp, a bunch of protein powder and ice cream and some steroids. I'm just not because I'm not saying he can't fight. I'm not saying like anything like that. It's just sheer size and roids. Oh man. It just worries me. If this happens, I mean, if it's in a gym and they got a ref and stuff, I don't know. Not trying to sound like I'm hating on my boy, but I'm just saying, like, I'm
Size
realistic.
differential is concerning for you.
I watch fights and I know a lot about fights and stuff, and it's just the size and the roids, it's dangerous. But I don't know. That's all I got to say about that. I wish I could go out to Canada and train with Easy for 4 weeks. He needs to do some intense training. You can't let Glenn grab him. He's got to dance around him, and he's got to get his neck or get his ankle or something. Those heavy ass dudes like Brock. Remember Brock Lesnar came into the UFC and got tapped out with an ankle. I think it was an ankle lock, like instantly. They got weak ankles.
Well, that's why like in our wrestling match, right? I was going for a head and arm, right? I knew I had to get you on the neck. I knew that if you I know that if you take brute force against me, like force for force, yeah, good. I'm not an idiot, right? Force for force, like in an arm wrestling match, you have me beat, right?
But you can't choke me in a wrestling match.
Again, I didn't have to choke you, right? What I had to do was take you and use your body weight against you. That was the whole idea, and that's what Blackout was trying to tell you. My move, I've used it so often that I can flawlessly run it.
You think I don't know how to use momentum to do a hip toss?
I would say it's not a hip toss. It's hard to explain. Again, it's a move that I've used so much that it's become flawless.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, go check my wrestling record, unlike the bitch over here that probably has no idea what real wrestling is except for what she sees on WWF.
Oh my God. Help.
Yeah, nothing's gonna help you, bitch.
What did I do?
You're crazy and insane and a lunatic.
I'm not crazy. I'm no more crazy than JS.
It's hard to imagine JS without dreads. I don't have dreads right now. What the?
Would you guys like a preview of the opening to Saturday's show?
Which one? The one with you and Jake?
Yep.
Sure.
I have to get into the StreamYard here, so just give me a second.
Everyone knew the Earth was flat 500 years ago. Yeah, and nobody knew what germs were 200, 300 years ago, 400. Germ theory.
Flat is a better way to describe it than round.
So, I forget how to make this full screen, but
is it the bottom right corner of the screen itself? Maybe. No, not the gear. Not the gear, but if you put it over the screen where it says "Covered America," will it show a little there? Is that that?
Oh yeah. Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
Gravity. Oh,
are you ready?
Hold on, I gotta click it. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, there we go.
Well, hold on. Actually, pause it.
Yes, paused.
Let me pop it out. Pause, and then put it so the stream can see it.
So this is a Saturday our Saturday intro put together this week. So when you're ready, just let me know.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. It's like Borderlands cell shading.
What percent of car accidents are prevented by stoplight?
A far less than the crimes that get committed by 15% of the population.
What were we debating about?
You're debating how you owe me money.
Juicy in the intro.
And you replace it with monkey or gorilla, they're still going to react in a certain way. They'll still beat you up. That was my point.
They were not physically taking over the fucking government. So I don't understand.
Oh my God.
Healthy golem.
Not tyrannical whatsoever. No, not tyrannical. I don't think women are capable of being.
It's really quiet, just so you know.
Job that the military has, yeah.
Oh, never mind. That's my fault.
Their next mark.
Election until the day he dies.
How does that make him a dictator?
Putin has won every single election.
Great. How does that make him a dictator?
That guy.
Because you have a lifetime office position
So?
of the entire country.
But it's legal and the people voted that in, how would that make him a dictator?
But should it be?
No, he didn't say that. He said that? He was like, please don't fire me with my pepper spray? Is that what his words were? Shut the fuck up, Peaceful, shut the fuck up, bro.
Jake!
He put his hands on a nice officer and he got pepper sprayed. That's what happened. He didn't help the woman up, right, Irrelevant? You can agree that he didn't help her up?
You literally had to keep going to the video.
Oh my god, we saw the other video that Tom Foolery put out. He never fucking helped her up. Your claim was that he helped her up. It never happened, Irrelevant. You're just making shit up, dude.
I know how strong I am. I know how intelligent I am. I know how I know where I can be.
That's great.
Yes, good. And that's based off my genetics. And that's based off my genetics, you piece of shit. How do you not see that? Right? Are indoctrinating men to be women. That is the whole idea. They are changing the way of which men look and act around other men, and they promote men to teach this to other men.
Is that how
the indoctrination is?
Is that what the Mankind Project was originally founded to be like, or was that something that happened recently?
No, that is what it was based on. I actually have the original documents here. Nothing has been edited from Bob and everything else.
I've already demonstrated how they're destroying the food, they're destroying hospitals. Your excuse is because there's tunnels. It's like, how does Hamas that has Flintstones technology, literally able to build all these fucking tunnels all around Gaza, to where Israel said, oh, we have no choice just to bomb out the entire area and kill 100,000 people.
So men can be able to have children, and then we no longer have to worry about women. And this is the world that we are going to live in. I'm glad that JS wants to live in a world where the only source of sex he's going to get is putting his dick in another man's ass.
Looks like Robert Downey Jr. and Edward Norton.
Stupid ass.
All right, Nathan. DoorDash ready?
I thought you would enjoy that opening.
It's pretty good.
I
don't know how you guys do all this damn AI crap. I don't know how you do all that. You got like animations and whatnot.
Yeah, we do our best.
That's pretty neat. What are you guys gonna do? What are you gonna talk about? You gonna debate stuff? You gonna
No. So this Saturday we'll be talking about Asha Shawarma.
Asha Shawarma.
Yep. The CEO of Xbox.
Oh God.
All right. Well, Stamey wants to do a show with me. We're gonna me and Stamey are gonna do a show.
Maybe it's not the Jews. Maybe it's all Semites.
It really doesn't matter what topic we're on, does it?
So, what do you think, though? Does the intro pique your interest?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. What's the time? What's the time slot?
The morning, right?
Yeah, we're doing it at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Saturday morning?
Pacific?
Yep.
Okay. Are you making its own unique channel, or is it just going to be on Jake's channel?
Mine and Jake's.
Your channel, your clip channel?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know if I'm even subscribed to that.
Yeah, so we're gonna start making my channel a little something more.
I have so much mail.
Nice. That's cool. What's up with the guy from Xbox? Rishi, what'd you say? What?
Asha Shawarma. It's a female.
Are they messing up Xbox?
She has fired over 30,000 American employees to hire 6,000 H-1B1s. She then was put on a federal task force for efficiency because of how well that was.
Why don't you do shorts like this, Avarice, with this stuff?
We are. That's what I am doing.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll clip up the show.
You should have way more shorts than you do. That's where you get everybody's attention, is the dang shorts, because everyone's got such a short attention span in your retarded crowd.
I make shorts, Marilyn.
Shorts. I bet you do make shorts.
I'm getting like
all right.
40,000 views a month on Instagram now of because my shorts go on Instagram too and TikTok.
You're doing what? Making what?
My shorts go to TikTok, X, and Instagram.
And you're making money doing that?
No, but I'm getting like 40,000 views on Instagram a month, like 30,000 on TikTok, not very much on X. Just from shorts views. Because it's shorts views, it's not enough to monetize.
That's crazy.
Shorts, 40,000 in a month is nothing. You should be if you want to monetize off of just shorts, you need to be getting
a lot.
Like 5 million a month.
You need more shorts too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of shorts, did you see my Matt Dillahunty short, the latest short I did, where I asked him, ought we believe what is true? And he said, I can't tell you we ought believe what's true.
You asked him that on a call or in a super chat?
Yeah, I called into his show. I asked him, is it true universally that humans ought to believe what is true and they ought not believe what is false? He says, I can't say they necessarily ought believe what is true because I can't ground that.
Of course.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well,
at least now they just admit it.
The problem is now you can't say, oh, you can't have the Bible in school, you can't have creationism, you can't have the 10 Commandments in schools, because now you can't say what I ought not do.
Right.
Or what I should do. It's over. I mean, it really doesn't matter at this point what anybody on that, because Matt Dillahunty's not an idiot, but he looked at the chessboard and he saw it was over.
Yeah. Did you see Abolitionist Rising posted a debate, I think 3 days ago or pretty recently, maybe it was 3 hours ago, but it's a incrementalist versus abolitionist debate.
Oh, well, yeah, but he got nuked from space on that one versus not Jake Shields, but Jack Shields, the one that I reviewed with Leah Bobia and AVG. But who's this new guy that they debated?
I don't know. Let me see.
Here's the thing. I was there when they were at Moody Bible Institute.
He posted
Chicago.
it 4 hours ago, so this is brand new.
Great, I'll have to check that out.
Doug Wilson.
I was there at Moody
Doug Wilson sounds really familiar.
Yeah, Doug Wilson's weak on this issue, unfortunately. He when he shows up, he just kind of giggles and says things, and he doesn't really argue. Like I saw him debate, what's his name, Hunter before. They've done this, him and Joe Rigney, where Doug and Joe Rigney were on the same team against T. Russell Hunter and whatever guy was in his corner, and Joe Rigney did all the work, and Doug Wilson was just kind of there, just kind of giggling and talking, and it's like, what a waste of time.
Huh.
Yeah, JS. You should check out the one if you want me to send it to. Well, we already watched that.
I already went through one of them, the one where you were there in person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one. But that wasn't this Doug Wilson guy, right?
No, but here's the thing. Abolitionist Rising had at least 2 cameras filming the entire debate that happened at Moody Bible Institute last year or 2 years ago. It never went up. And why do you think that was? Because he got nuked from space.
I saw it. It didn't look that bad, but
it was horrible. He had no material.
Well, the same way they went to a what's her name? The girl that was fat, but now she's skinny. Not Lila Rose, but Abby.
Not Abby Johnson. No, Abby Johnson doesn't do debates. You're thinking about the one with the glasses.
Yeah. Anyway, she did a thing once, and Abolitionist Rising was in the audience, and they were asking her questions, and she started freaking out and raging and cussing at them and stuff. And they never aired that, but Abolitionist Rising did because they were secretly recording it.
That's great, but that's just somebody freaking out. That doesn't mean that their position is wrong or that other position is right.
Well, it's kind of deceptive. If your audience asks you a question, you start cussing them out, and then you don't upload that part of the show. You're trying to give off this message that you're like a virtue signal, like you're super nice lady and
Sure.
Christian.
We'll
and all
just
this.
say she's not a Christian. She's a phony fraud, fake lady, and she's a very bad person, and she kicks puppies. That's great. The question is, why don't you put up a full debate where you think you won? If and you went out there and you filmed it, you flew out there, and then you never upload it. I mean, it's pretty telling. Very telling. It's not like the footage isn't out there in full. It is because of Jack, not because of T. Russell Hunter. Even though he's got it, and he said he'd probably put it up sometime. And especially since he's going
I
to
just want
accuse
to
the
put it out
guy.
there. I've had one formal debate and I killed it. I crushed it. I was about to say I undefeated 1-0.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The guy went down like a wet newspaper.
Nah.
He went down like wet noodle.
You made a tricky opening that everybody thought was funny. Yeah, nah, but
So you can see that the opening was a banger.
it was a banger opening, but you didn't make any arguments in your opening. Is just basically
What are you talking about?
Oh, wait, JS, are you saying the substance matters and not the optics, JS?
It was just clipping me out of context.
Not all of it.
Just some of it.
It was funny, but nah. I think everybody agreed. Mankind Project
I don't
is
think
not
about
the
that.
most dangerous cult. It's just kind of.
I don't think about that.
All right, you guys. Well, I'm head out. It's been fun. See ya.
See ya.
I think you're kind of gay. You're gay. How was your day getting back? Have you caught up on rest, man?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. It was nice. I thought I worked 2 days and I thought I still had 3 more days left of work. And then I realized I took 2 days off in the beginning of the week. So I only have 1 more day. No.
I hate to say it. I already missed like coming home from a long day of work and then having the boys there. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, oh shit. Come home and now there's like no hanging out on the back porch, smoking and hanging out with the boys after working.
Yeah.
I missed that. It was awesome. That was my favorite part because I worked my ass off. So like then I came back and you guys were already relaxed and hanging out and having a good time. It was awesome because then like, was a good tempo for me to have a good time after a long day, Someone served me a beer. Jeremy would be like, "Can I get you anything?" It was fucking fantastic. I missed that.
You know what I realized?
The fuck are you talking about? I never offered to get you shit, Avarice.
Yeah, you did.
When?
Yeah, when we were in the hallway and I was looking like I was gonna faint because I worked my ass off. He said, "Hey, look, if there's anything you need, don't let me know."
I may have said that. I don't recall, but I may have said that. I thought you somebody at the Airbnb. I'm like, nah, dude, I never offered to get you shit at the Airbnb. I was only there.
I was generalizing in total throughout the weekend of people offering to get me stuff.
Heaven forbid we ever think you're nice, Jeremy.
You know what I realized on the very last day, like right before we were checking out, I was doing
that you have my notebook?
Well, that I realized that when I got home and emptied out my bag. But I was walking through making sure everything was clean before we left. I gave you guys because I was there first and I said, you guys get the pink room because you have a girl with you. I'm taking the blue room. You had a damn TV in your room.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that when I first got there and I was looking around. I didn't notice there was a TV in that room on the wall. I should have picked.
Yeah, I was watching TV on it.
I should have picked the damn pink room.
Well, whose fault is that?
It doesn't matter. I didn't watch no damn TV anyway. I did watch the fights on Saturday morning.
No, we watched TV. We watched the Nick Fuentes Hunter Biden thing together, all of us.
Yeah, that was funny. Oh yeah, I was thinking I want to review that on stream. And I was like, wait, I already reviewed that on stream because I've seen it. That's when we watched it. We watched it.
Yeah.
So I have not reviewed that on stream. And honestly, I don't really remember I was so drunk and talking to you guys. I don't even remember how it went.
Dude, it was a toss up to who was the most drunk between Teriak and JS the whole time.
Well, I don't know.
It was definitely JS.
Do you think I mean, JS did wake up every day and crack a beer. That's like the first thing he did. Wake up right to the fridge, grab a beer. I need to take a shower after this beer.
Yeah, but hold on, wait.
Oh no, that's called a bow. A beer shower is a bower.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. If you look at just Friday night as the example, JS passed the fuck out, and there wasn't no getting him up.
Yeah,
And
we're
I
not
know-
going to talk.
I
We're not
know
going to talk
that-
about Friday night as an example,
What do you mean?
though.
I got up and I helped.
Oh,
I got
Thursday night
I
example.
helped put everything away.
No. Jake Var went in there specifically to wake you up, and your ass mumbled some nonsense and right back to sleep.
Oh,
and
you
I
mean in the
guarantee
sound room?
you
Are you talking
don't
about the
even
sound
remember
room? Are you talking about the sound room?
Yeah, but later, when I woke up, when it was time to go, I woke up and I started helping clean up. And I got
Yeah,
another
that's
beer.
fine. I didn't say you didn't get back up at the end of the night.
I was
but
not
I'm
the most
saying
slosh. Ask
you passed
Easy.
the fuck
Ask
out.
Easy who handles
You
their
passed
liquor
the
and their
fuck out,
alcohol
Pets
better
of the
than
world.
everybody.
Whereas Teriak, he dozed off a couple times during that, but you woke him up. He was back up and ready to go.
I was sleeping. I was not.
Yeah, you were fucking passed the fuck out.
Yeah, that was not due to drunkenness. That was due to
No,
tiredness.
it was it was drunkenness, dude.
No, that was tiredness. I didn't drink no liquor. I don't get.
Do you remember Jake Var waking you up?
No, but I remember when I woke
Yeah,
up,
you were drunk as shit.
I was fine. I was walking around, I was smiling and laughing. I got video. I was helping put stuff away, helping pack everything up, flying the drone, chasing Avarice with the drone. I was not that drunk. If I was that drunk, I would.
Oh, dude, do you remember hitting the roof of that building across the street with the drone?
If I was drunk, I would have been puking or no, I wasn't that drunk. I was just tired and I went to sleep.
He's like, I'm not that drunk. I'm not that drunk.
I'm not gonna say who, but there was someone that drunk.
Yeah, a lot of people got super drunk. I mean, I was drunk, but I was just mainly drinking beer and
Nah, it wasn't JS, but somebody was drunk enough to be puking.
I was pacing or not pacing myself, but just stayed consistently buzzed the whole time.
You were getting to school at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and no one.
I had so many
You
cokes,
were
man.
Well, Steelborn said he was going to go swimming, and then I jumped in the pool. He never jumped in.
Monday and Tuesday, I had to drink cokes just to prevent getting the caffeine headache for how many cokes I had over the weekend.
All right, I'll be back. Love you guys. Except you, Marilyn. You're a whore.
Later, Evers.
Evers is such a dickhead.
Arm wrestling was the highlight.
I don't even know why I'm up here anyways. You weren't even supposed to open Discord.
What are you talking about? He always has Discord on Friday.
For a little while at the end, yeah.
Oh, he does it later. You might do a show in the morning and back later.
Yeah, he does Discord in the end of his Friday shows normally. The fuck you're talking about, Marilyn?
This is true.
Is he right?
He's right.
Every Friday, you start a stream early in the day and go all day long.
Not all day long.
No, not all day long. I'm gonna be
Yes,
stopping
you-
here. I'm gonna be stopping here and like.
But I've literally jumped on here and gone on camera while I was driving to lunch on Fridays several times.
So basically, you're going to end soon and then you're coming back later.
He'll go to bed and then he'll stream late tonight when VK and stuff happens.
Okay, well, that's the way I thought it was, but I didn't realize you did Discord on your first show.
You've been on here before when he does it.
I don't remember.
What fucking planet are you on, Marilyn?
Yeah. I don't do Discord during the Bible studies, but Friday is not Bible study day.
I know, but you usually don't do Discord when you're talking about other topics or when you're debate prepping. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
you
does.
just don't normally do that when you're talking about something.
On his Friday stream, he usually does Discord at the end of the show.
A lot of times
Yeah.
on Friday, I'll start up trying to do a debate prep, and then I'll end up going in Discord and not doing any debate prep.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I have.
John Castle says Marilyn is a lunatic.
Why am I a lunatic?
You know what that means? It means you're moonstruck.
Am I?
The changing phases of the moon make you erratic.
It is a full moon.
Yeah, I don't think the moon's the reason for it.
About to be some werewolf action, some werewolf action.
You wish.
Werewolf, I like that.
Stop.
Monday is the news show. Yeah.
I wanted to talk to Avers about that bullshit Andrew has going on.
You're just mad about him defending Charlie Kirk?
No, he's going on there and trolling the fuck out of Candace Owens when really the only people that should be involved in that damn discussion is people close to Charlie who have nuance with the situation and investigators who should be able to share notes with each other. Not Andrew fucking Fuxin with his ignorant ideas, and he was a gutter fucking talking head on YouTube just a few years ago. I mean, he's a nobody. The situation.
You sound jealous.
Wait, Marilyn, should Candace be involved in it?
You don't know what he's doing on
Marilyn, should Candace be involved in it?
What?
Should Candace be involved in any of it?
She was close friend with Charlie, a very close friend.
If he's not big enough or important enough, then why do you care if he's trolling her?
Just got a text from him.
And if he's big enough or important enough, then why doesn't she just debate him?
Because he's a nobody. She has big
Truth Revolt. Thank you.
She has a lot of topics she wants to delve into. She doesn't want to do this Charlie Kirk shit. This is sad as fuck. Why would
Really?
she?
Then why has she been doing it? She's been getting rich off his grave. She's been dancing on his grave for a year now.
Oh my God, this is not about money for her. She had plenty of good topics before he even died. She didn't need him to die. That is crazy
What was her
to say.
good topics before he died? Bridget Macron's penis.
Oh my God.
What? Yeah? She thinks dinosaurs didn't exist.
Wait, Marilyn, which one of your gods? Because as far as I understand, we're all your gods.
What, did she leave?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. She's just mad because Andrew's crushing all her conspiratard idols. What a lunatic. All right. It's almost noon. I'm going to go to sleep early today so I can try to get on VK early.
Is Vic? I'm assuming it is, but do you know VK's happening? I haven't seen anything scheduled.
Oh, that's true. I don't even know.
No. There's a scheduled event now.
It is? Okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I'm not even for sure it's gonna happen yet, but I got invited with Vigilante and Admiral Gibbs and Craig FTFE to go on there. So Craig is gonna be doing a marathon debate night where he's gonna debate every conspiracy. So you bring your own conspiracy and he's gonna debate on it. And I don't think he has any idea what sort of conspiracy theories I know. I'm gonna come at him with CPS as a child trafficking scheme. Dinosaurs built the pyramids.
I had like a 15-20 minute conversation with Gibbs down there in Dallas. He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. That's why I didn't really. I talked to him last time too for a while. But
Sam for Andrew Wilson and think everything he does is so perfect when he's clearly just being a problem.
We moved on from that, Marilyn.
Yeah,
read the room.
Good. You know I was right. All right, next topic.
No, you're wrong as shit.
You're wrong as shit.
No, it's fine. I get it.
Candace is annoying and lame. She always has been.
She is not.
As soon as it became popular to dog on the Jews, she jumped on the Jew train, even though she worked for Daily Wire, TPUSA, PragerU, 3 of which were very Jewish influenced. She didn't mind the Jews when she was getting paid by them.
Tucker Carlson said, I'm out. I'm sorry I voted for Trump. So when you get more information,
these people
you
just
change your opinion like a normal adult.
Tucker Carlson's changed his opinion so many times throughout his career. He just goes wherever it's popular to go. If it's popular to support the Iran war, he supports the Iran war. If it's not popular to support the Iran war, he doesn't support the Iran war. If it's cool to support Trump, he supports Trump. Once it's not cool to support Trump, he doesn't support Trump. Candace Owens, same situation.
That's not the way it works.
If Daily Wire tells her to say these things,
that's
she says
not
these things.
Fair. That's like saying it's Eve's fault that sin is in the world. It's because Eve ate the apple. When really she was innocent and she was deceived. If you are deceived to believe something, you are going to say, okay, I trust this person and I'm going to believe this. But then when you find out that they're complete liars, then you're going to say, hey, I don't stick up for that. I don't promote them anymore. I don't agree with what they're saying because they lied to me. It's not your fault they're a liar. It's just not.
I have no idea what you just said.
I'm saying if you are lied to,
that doesn't
and you
mean repeat it.
And you change your opinion because you find out you were lied to, you are not the bad guy. Tucker Carlson is not the bad guy for changing his mind because Trump lied to everyone.
And so how do you determine what's a lie based on how popular it is?
No, when you don't follow through with what the motherfucking shit you said. We were supposed to get our gas prices down. We were supposed to never go to war. We were all this stuff he promised. And it's just more strife and more death. No, he didn't fulfill anything he fucking said, which was a lie.
That's not true. He put them tariffs in. He promised those.
Oh my God.
Close the border up. We don't have a bunch of Moroccans running into our border.
Yeah, we still got the Haitians eating the cats and dogs, or is that cleared up yet?
No, go ahead and try to turn on Israel. Go ahead and try to put any of the.
He's been more bold, angry woman prattle. I agree, Nate. Thank you for the super chat. Hold along, Nate. It's angry woman prattle.
Will be just the same.
Trump has been harder on Israel than any president or any politician I've ever seen. Trump is. They don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They all kiss the wall. His daughter literally just married a Jew, and he went to the wedding and said, didn't even talk about Christ. Didn't even was totally open arms with her marrying.
Trump's not a preacher.
I don't care. You can see his nature.
Why would you make that claim? He didn't say anything about Christ at his daughter's Jewish person wedding. He didn't say anything about. What do you think? He's a preacher? Do you think he's about to get up there and Jesus?
When he spoke, he did say Christianity. He said she left Christianity to join Judaism, and he didn't. He didn't
What's he gonna do? Condemn his daughter on national TV? How dare you become a Jew, daughter?
He really condoned that shit. He did not say it was any kind of. I mean, it's just you see what he's doing with Israel. You see he's defending Israel and then sticking up for Israel. We're literally urging military.
He's been tougher on Israel than any politician I've ever seen.
This is what NPCs believe. You really believe the shit that comes out of his mouth, even though he's doing something totally opposite.
Yeah, well, you believe the shit that comes out your mouth when nobody else does, Marilyn.
Yeah, because we live in hell.
Okay.
You haven't noticed.
Wow.
Wow. Just wow.
Wow.
You need a whatchamacallit, a little group, or I don't know what it's called, channel.
I don't think I'm living in hell, Maryland. I don't know where you're living. Maybe you need to move.
You need a lobotomy.
Tab in your Discord for either conspiracies or history or something where I can totally juice her.
Why?
No, let's not do that.
Because I can show you I'm right about everything.
I'll tell you what, Marilyn. I'll make you a channel.
Don't lie.
No, Jess, we'll do that. We'll give her her Jaceberg channel, but
Give me
it will be restricted to only her. She can go there.
Just
She can go there and squirt all day long to herself.
The numbers don't lie, y'all. The numbers don't lie.
Women lie, men lie, women lie, men lie.
You've been following Gary too
Numbers
much.
don't lie. Marilyn spitting truth. She locked in. Don't ever say that again, Cameron.
Locked in.
Don't ever say that again. Oh my God.
So true, man. Y'all just don't know how retarded y'all really are. Y'all are like little babies who need a daddy.
No. Bounce the moon lady. $20. Bounce the moon lady. It doesn't matter. I'm going to bed anyway. Well, now I got to hang on for. Now I got to stay on for 20 minutes.
It's so cheap. That is so cheap.
Yeah.
Why would you get rid of me for $20?
It's 20-minute mute. Bye.
Wow.
All right. She's muted. It's okay. I was gonna end at noon anyway, but
Well, now you got to wait 20 minutes so that so that Nate gets his balance.
That's true. Okay.
Otherwise, you gotta lock the time in and remember that for when you start streaming later.
As soon as she comes in the next stream, mute her for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean it's the only way. It's only fair. He paid $20. He's got to get his mute.
That's true. We'll just hang out for 20 minutes, and she'll just sit there.
I mean, I'm not super happy about it because it means I got to be partially entertaining, and I'm not that.
Yep.
But I guess Auntie's got to listen to me, and there is some pleasure in that.
What does this mean? 132. Verbal combat round 132. I don't know. I just thought it was the topic. 132 wildcard night. I was like, what does that mean? Is that code?
No, it's VK 132. Damn, we're almost 100. We're almost 100 episodes past when I won. I got to get back in there.
Yep. Got to do it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, I mean, because 37 was mine. So, like, at this point, I'm like one of the OG champions at this point.
Nate paid for your nap, bro? My nap. Look at this. New world record grind at Castle Bam. What did they grind for? 600 feet? I show speed hitting 660 million subs right now. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, you know, I just found out he's actually from here. He's local to me.
I show speed.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from Cincinnati. I saw some of his videos or whatever. He was at like some places. I'm like, I recognize that place. That looks familiar. And I go look, and yeah, he's at fucking some shit at downtown Cincinnati. I'm like, damn.
Nate, JS likes me. What? What? That's crazy. That's crazy. Wrap the stream, bro. Take a nap.
Oh, he canceled 10 minutes of his mute.
I'll still give him. I'll give you 15 minutes later. Marilyn, you got to come back and you got to sit through a 15-minute mute later tonight. It's just the way it's going to be because I do want to go take a nap. I won't do it. You will. You act like you're just never going to come back. Okay. Don't threaten us with a good time.
Yeah, that sounds like a real punishment.
Damn.
Please don't do that to us. How will we ever survive without Marilyn in the voice chats? Oh no.
All right, guys. I'm gonna head out. See you later. You got 15 minutes later, Marilyn.
Later, Jess.
See ya. Chat. I think we did pretty good on the debunk, and we only got 20 minutes into an hour-long video, or like an hour and 20-minute video, and we already destroyed everything he was saying. I got all the Bible verses. As soon as we set up I'm just gonna start like mass prepping and writing debate openings, just so I have like stuff ready to go. I need a new notebook soon. My notebook's running out of pages. But sweet dreams, JS. He is going to be mad when I don't come back. Yeah. We'll see. You know, if you don't come back tonight, it'll just happen tomorrow night or next Friday or next. It's going to happen at some point, Marilyn. You might as well just get it out of the way as early as possible. But let me see if I can raid somebody real quick. Raid time. Who's anybody streaming right now? Customization, redirect. The Fallen State. We usually go to the Fallen State because there's nobody else live, so. And it's starting right now. Former White House appointee. I don't know who that is. Whatever. I don't see anybody else live. So it's time for the Fallen State. Even though when I rated Anchor Baby the other day, Anchor Baby's mods were talking shit about my username. And I was like, oh, I guess your dumbass mods don't like raids. Nick, even though Nick didn't, none of them ever respond to the raids. I don't know if they don't like raids, but whatever. If you guys don't like raids, but when I raid to Fallen State or Bond Church, they always thank me in the chat. When I raid Nick, his mod was talking shit about me. That's not smart. I wouldn't have that person as a mod. Guys, if anybody ever raids me and you start talking shit about them and you're my mod and they raided me, you might not be a mod anymore. That's a stupid move. I don't like that chat. Yeah, that's why I don't really hang out in those chats anymore. They're all a bunch of retards now. But I do like Nick and Hake and JLP. I like all those guys and I like those shows, but yeah, their chat, man. I don't know what happened. There are some cool people in there, though. Lord Spike's always in there. He's a mod over there. I thank your raids. I'm going to talk shit on anyone who raids you. You're just trying to get your... If you don't want to be a mod, Jeremy, just tell me. Okay, guys, I got to go. Thanks for hanging out. God bless. We'll be back tonight, VK. And then back to the regular grind. And then my Ward War debate should go up next week. They're going to start dropping them on Monday. And they have like a week's worth already, upcoming on their channel. But they don't have me or they don't have Teriox yet. Those won't be until the following week. And then I got the the Debate Con and VK and all that video. I've just got to edit it. I've got to edit the crap out of it. And I've got to trim it up a lot, get it down to like 45-minute video. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be a pretty cool video when it's done. It's just going to take me a little while. I'm one person. So that's what's coming up. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out if you haven't yet. Thank you guys for the super chats. That was awesome. I didn't even. I'm thinking I'm gonna start doing my like daily goals. Like I'm just gonna put up, I don't know, $100, and then we try to hit that. But we almost hit $100 right here. So let's freaking go. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. God bless you all. I will see you tonight. You got your passport prepped for Canada in August. I don't have a pass. I'm not allowed to leave the country. What are you talking about? I'm a damn criminal. Okay, I'll see you guys later. I'm out.